Welcome back to Cardinals Stadium. We are just about ready to go. The sun's setting to our backs. The lights are on, and it is a spectacular atmosphere for college football as Notre Dame, the number 9 team in the land, coming off their college football playoff appearance, gets set to do battle with a new-look Louisville Cardinals. Brandon Gaudin, Derek Rackley, happy to be with you. Louisville is on the field right now. Notre Dame going out there. They've got on the gold helmets. They look extra shiny tonight, don't they, Derek?
They always look shiny. That's one thing Notre Dame does well is they make sure their uniforms are spotless and those helmets are glistening.
Man, they are glistening, and they've got gold pants, white jerseys, and then Louisville is going black from top to bottom with red and white trim. Notre Dame won the toss. They have elected to receive, so they are on the south portion of the stadium, and they will be returning this kick south to north. Armstrong and Williams back deep for the Irish as the football is put on the tee by the kicker, Blanton Creaky. He marks off his steps right now. The energy is really building. Just a couple of seats left in the top level across from us on the east side of the stadium, just shy of 60,000. Now Creaky's a left-footed kicker. He's got it upright at the 35. He approaches. He boots it with that left leg, and we are underway. Taking it from the 2-yard line, a fair catch is going to be called. And the football will come to the 25-yard line. That opening kickoff, sponsored by the Alliance for Lifetime Income, is the sole sponsor of the 2019 Rolling Stones No Filter Tour. The Alliance for Lifetime Income is educating Americans on protected lifetime income. Go to retireyourrisk.org. So, Derek, we talked about Ian Book. He will be the quarterback, and he's going to get the first crack at things here.
Yep, and we'll see if he's able to come out in 2019 with the same type of efficiency that he had a year ago. We talked about it already, 68%, third best completion percentage returning among college football quarterbacks.
They will start in the pistol. Tony Jones, the tailback behind him. They send the tight end Brock Wright in motion left to right, faking the handoff. Book wanted to throw. Now he's going to take off. He's got a lot of room. 30, 35, 40. He's all the way across midfield, across the 45, and diving inside of Louisville's 40. So the Red Sea parts, and Ian Book takes off for a gain of 37 yards.
That caught him in man coverage, specifically the linebacker C.J. Avery, number 9, doesn't even see Book take off with the football. He's got his back turned to the quarterback as he's basically running up the backside of him.
And that's a career-long rush for the senior from California. So the ball inside the 40, second play of the game, inside handoff, past the 30 and spinning forward down to the 28. Tony Jones, the running back, with a carry. And just shy of a first down, give him 9 yards, 2nd and 1.
There's one thing, going back to Ian Book, I was watching tape from last year, that Clemson game, and he's got the ability to run with the football. He only had 280 yards rushing a year ago, but I think that's a little deceiving. He can tuck it down and run with it now.
1 minute gone by. They're inside of Louisville's 32nd one, 2-back set. It's going to be a handoff for Armstrong this time, going around the right side. He's got the first down and a little more as he's tackled by the ankles at the 24-yard line, and the sticks move.
You're seeing both of the backs in there at the same time, helping each other out. Tony Jones, number 6, getting the lead block for Armstrong, giving him just enough to pick up that first down.
And keep in mind, Derek, you mentioned it earlier, this Louisville defense could not stop the run last year. They were by far the worst in the ACC. Book out of the gun. Tony Jones on his right. Tight end right goes in motion, right to left. Shotgun snap. Book, 3-step drop over the middle, dumps it off, pitch and catch. Armstrong out of the backfield inside the 15, down inside the 10 before he's taken out at the near sideline around the 8-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal Notre Dame after a pickup of 16.
Again, we talked about Dexter Williams was the primary back for Notre Dame. Armstrong just 14 catches out of the backfield, but showing his ability to get out of the backfield, get into the route, and present his numbers for Book to hit him.
Boy, right now, this is a hot knife through butter for this Notre Dame offense against this Louisville defense. 1st and goal. Snap comes, handoff. Armstrong up the middle. He plows forward down inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. So that's a gain of 4, and it'll be 2nd and goal. And this Louisville defense, they can't catch their breath. 12:53 and rolling, opening drive of this game, and the number 9 team in the land is looking sharp early. Book in the shotgun. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. He's going to hand it off up the middle, down to the goal line, and in goes Jameer Smith. First carry of the game for the redshirt freshman, and he's got his first career touchdown. And just like that, 2 minutes and 21 seconds into the action. Notre Dame takes it 75 yards, and they run it in on a 4-yard carry from Jameer Smith to take a 6-0 lead.
Coming into the game, Notre Dame presented a depth chart that showed 3 running backs, and on their very first drive, they get all 3 of them involved into the game plan. So Brian Kelly, Chip Long, the offensive coordinator, showing that they're going to go deep with their running backs this year.
Yeah, we saw Jones and Armstrong, and then Smith gets his first carry of the season and runs it right into the end zone. And now Jonathan Dorr on for the extra point. The snap and hold, good. The kick is up, and it is right down the middle. And Notre Dame takes a 7-0 lead. A reminder that for every touchdown scored during our college broadcast this season, Warner Ladder is making a donation to Coach to Cure MD, dedicated to helping college coaches defeat Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Warner, step up your game with Warner Ladder. Breaking the action, 12:39 first quarter, Notre Dame 7, Louisville 0. This is Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football. Dorb checks, makes sure his 10 teammates are ready to go. And he approaches. Right-footed kicker. And sends the pigskin high into the air, spinning end over end. And it will be a hesitation and then a return and maybe a bad decision to the 10-yard line and tackled at the 12, Hassan Hall. And I thought, Derek, he was for sure going to go down to a knee. It was a high kick in the end zone, and it's going to cost him a lot of yards.
That's about 2 yards deep in the end zone, but the problem is there's no communication back between the returners. I mean, that has to be just like you're playing baseball or softball. The ball's up in the air. I got it. That means the other person is supposed to get out in front to be the lead blocker, but instead, on the very first time they touch the football, there's miscommunication.
So they're going to have to start at their own 12-yard line on the left hash. Juwan passes the quarterback. Again, only 54% completion percentage last year. And he is going out of the gun with a tailback behind him. He's going to turn and hand it off to Javian Hawkins. Hawkins will get it out for a couple to the 14. That'll make it 2nd and 8.
Talked a little bit about pass. Now, offense was not great last year for him, which is a little odd considering Bobby Petrino was the coach and he's an offensive-minded guru as to many people. But I saw pass down on the field. He's a big kid, 6'4", 240 pounds, got a really good frame on him.
Native of Columbus, Georgia, again going out of the gun with a tailback behind him. Javian Hawkins, by the way, getting his first career start at running back. This time it's going to be a throw, pass, left sideline, diving attempt at it, falling out of bounds, and it is complete. Boy, what a catch that time by Seth Dawkins, one of their top 2 targets, hauling it in at the 32 as he falls out of bounds. It's a gain of 18 yards.
Yeah, a little back shoulder throw from pass there going to Dawkins, and you mentioned he's one of the guys that's got some experience on this offense. 34 career games, played 5 starts in his career, coming into tonight, first big play offensively for the Cardinals.
So 1st and 10 from their own 32, left hash marching it left to right. Hawkins is still the tailback behind Juwan pass. Gets the snap, turns around, gives to Hawkins. Slips through a hole across the 40 and gets to the 45 before he's dragged down by his ankles. Another first down, that time a gain of 13 and a shoestring tackle by Alohi Gilman.
Yeah, Gilman is one of the guys that I talked about that is a pretty sure tackler, big thumper coming out of the defensive backfield, but really good move there to kind of get him off balance. Gilman's still able to get a shoelace tackle, but nearly slips out of it.
So the Cardinals in those black unis, black pants, and black helmets looking good here on offense, down 7-0. Their first drive, they're at the 45, and a handoff to Hawkins again. Hawkins left side. This time it's not going to be as successful as his play is strung out, and he's dragged out of bounds after a short gain on the left side. Call it a pickup of 1.
Now, Hawkins is one of those guys that kind of benefited from the rule change, where as a freshman last year, he got a little bit of a chance to play, just 2 carries for 8 yards. So now players can go into no more than 4 games, but yet then they be shut down and still preserve that redshirt year and come back with 4 years of eligibility.
He's still out there on this play, but it's going to be a throw for pass. Pressure comes, so he takes off across the 50, a little space. He picks up the first down. Diving forward to the Notre Dame 43, and the sticks move a run of 11 for the quarterback, Juwan Pass.
Yeah, Juwan Pass was a little fortunate, too, right when he broke contain. Asmar Bilal, the linebacker, basically turned his back on him, didn't recognize the quarterback scramble, kind of gave an extra 5 or 6 yards for him to move upfield.
So now across midfield, 1st and 10. It's going to be a handoff. Hawkins is wrapped up right at the line. That's the best job that Notre Dame has done against the run there, as you had Owusu Koromoa The linebacker helping to make the stop for no gain. 2nd and 10 as we hit the 10-minute mark of the first quarter.
Yeah, Drew White, another one of those linebackers in on that tackle as well. Guy that got very minimal time last year, just 8 tackles, but now with some of those linebacker departures, you talked about Brandon stepping up into a starting role.
Markham back 2 yards to the 45, so it's 2nd and 12. Shotgun snap, faking the handoff, pass with pressure coming, almost wrapped up, avoids the tackle, then he just throws it away to nobody over on that Notre Dame sideline. But he was able to get outside the tackle box. The pressure was coming from Jeremiah Owusu.
Quarterback was outside the pocket. There is no foul for intentional grounding.
And there's Dwayne Height confirming what I said, Derek, outside of the tackle box. So 3rd and 12.
Yeah, just got to get the ball back to the line of scrimmage as well. But Owusu Koromoa coming in immediately, not giving pass enough time to even kind of sort things out downfield. So that's one thing Notre Dame defense is going to have to continue to do throughout the evening is once they drop back to pass, get in his throwing lane.
So 3rd and 12, and we've got our first penalty. Notre Dame jumped on defense. Looked like it was Julian Aquara, a talented defensive end. We'll get confirmation in a moment.
Offside. Defense. Number 42. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And it is indeed Julian Aquara, Derek.
Yeah, smart play, too, by the left tackle, Mekhi Becton, the junior. He recognizes Julian Aquara jump into the neutral zone, so as the left tackle, the player that's directly across from him, he just comes up out of his stance, and as long as the defense makes the offensive player move, that's going to just even further show the officials.
So now 3rd and 7, they're going to run an option play right, keeping it as pass, and he's got the first down. Tripped up inside the 30. Great move to keep it. Juwan Pass had a lane. And Louisville will keep the football before he's finally tackled by Kyle Hamilton inside the 30-yard line.
This is exactly what this Cardinal offense needed to do, coming off of the score from Notre Dame and their first opportunity to come out on offense. Just pick up a couple of first downs, keep the chains moving, and give yourself a chance to get into scoring territory.
7-0 Notre Dame. This is the 2nd drive of the game. First offensively for Louisville. 1st and 10 inside the 30 of Notre Dame. Here's a fake on the handoff. Little dump off right. It's complete, running out of bounds that time. Short gain on the near sideline. Claypool with his first reception, and you'll hear his name as the night continues.
Little run pass option. Juwan Pass has the opportunity after a little play fake in the backfield that he can either tuck it up and run, or he can just dump it off to one of his receivers.
So now it'll be 2nd down and 4, 8:45 and rolling first quarter. Here's a handoff right side inside the 20, first down the right sideline goes Javian Hawkins. It's going to be 1st and goal as he's dragged out near the 5-yard line. Call it the 6-yard line officially. Owusu Koromoa with a touchdown-saving tackle after a gain of 15.
Here's what I like from Hawkins, Brandon. He is not a big back, 5'9", 182 pounds, but he is hitting the line of scrimmage going full speed. He's not getting up to the line and dancing and trying to shake and bake. He's getting straight north and south and trying to find a seam.
So now it's a stack formation. Now they move one of the running backs. They had 2 behind pass. They move one to the right. He turns around and hands it off. It's a run right side, and it's down to about the 5. He maybe got 1 yard that time, because the line of scrimmage was the 6 on 1st and goal. We'll see where they spot it. 2nd down coming up. And actually, they're going to mark him back. So they're going to say that he lost yardage. And the 12th play of the drive will be coming up here. 2nd and goal from the 8. Juwan Pass in the pistol look with Hawkins behind him. Receiver to the left, one to the right. Fakes a handoff, and Pass is going to run it. Inside the 5, angling for the corner, and he's in. Touchdown, Louisville. A 12-play drive that ends on an 8-yard run by their quarterback, Juwan Pass, to get the Cardinals on the board with 7:27 left in the first. If they can convert the extra point, we'll be tied at 7.
Same run pass option look we saw just a couple of snaps ago where Pass gets out to the perimeter. He rolls out to the right side, and then it's his option depending on what he sees from the defense, whether or not he wants to dump the football off to Marshawn Ford, number 83. He liked the look the defense was giving him to tuck it down, and he gets into the end zone.
Blanton Creaky on for the extra point. Again, he's a left-footed kicker. Gets that left leg into it. It is up. It is good, and we are tied at 7. So Notre Dame went down and scored on their opening drive. Louisville does the same, and with 7:27 left in the opening quarter, we're all even at 7 apiece. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Welcome back to the Grainger broadcast booth at Cardinal Stadium. Along with Derek Rackley, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Count on Grainger to help build, fix, and move your world. Click Grainger.com for industrial supplies, safety products, and time-saving services. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. We're all tied at 7 with 7:27 left in the opening quarter. An impressive answer by Louisville on that last drive.
Exactly. That's what you want your offense to do. Defense does not have a good drive once Notre Dame received the opening kickoff, but the offense goes out there and does their job. They put together first downs. They protect the football, doing it a lot by running. And Juwan Pass, I liked his decision-making. A couple of run-pass options, and he takes the second one in for a touchdown.
That was an 8-yard run to cap off that 12-play, 88-yard drive that ate 5:12 off the clock. So now Louisville will kick it off left to right to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 7-7 our score here in the opening quarter on the banks of the Ohio River. Left-footed kicker Blanton Creaky approaches and boots it away in the direction of Kyron Williams. He takes it at the 5. He will return this one across the 15, across the 20, and then he's hit hard at the 21-yard line. Boy, he got dropped. A clean hit, no flags, but he got dropped by Tiberius Peterson.
Really nice play by Peterson, recognizing there was a little hole, and all he did was just filled with his body right in the middle of that spot. Gets his knees bent, body down, delivers a big hit to stop that return right in its tracks.
Listen to Westwood One's live coverage of college football on your Alexa smart speaker. Just ask your Echo device to open Westwood One Sports to hear all the action, sponsored by Indeed.com. Notre Dame starting this drive left hash, 21-yard line in their own territory. Ian Book out of the gun with Tony Jones to his left, the running back. He's going to drop to throw it. Pressure coming off the edge. Throws over the middle. Pass is tipped and incomplete. It was in the direction of Chase Claypool, but it got tipped at the line, sailed over his head, second down.
Yeah, it's a good situation, too, for Ian Book in the offense. Knowing that there's pressure coming means he's going to have man coverage on the defense, but defensive front doing a nice job putting some arms up in that throwing lane, getting their fingers on the football to deflect that one away.
And Chase Claypool, that is the top receiver for Notre Dame now that Miles Boykin has gone to the NFL playing for the Ravens on Sundays. Tony Jones still in the backfield, 2nd and 10. Book looks to pass, throws to the right with pressure coming, and he throws it way over the head of Claypool. Again, he targeted his top receiver, and 3rd and 10 is coming up.
You know, Ian Book usually makes some pretty good decisions, but that one I did not think was a great decision because he had man coverage. Louisville was bringing a blitz again, and it was just like a little 5-yard speed out, but for some reason he put some air underneath it. That's one where you got to put your right foot in the ground, step to your target, and just deliver a laser to your wide receiver.
These Louisville fans making some noise, a lot of them standing, most of them in black jerseys matching their team's attire. 3rd and 10 for Notre Dame from their own 21. Jones to the right of Book, the quarterback. 3 receivers set to the right. He drops, looks that way. Now he's going to tuck it, run. Across the 25, dives forward. He's not going to get there. He needed to get to the 31. He got to the 29. 4th and 2. Notre Dame will punt.
That's what happens when you get a couple of good stops on 1st and 2nd down, bringing up 3rd and 10 because your quarterback's really going to have to make some magic out of the play if he's going to tuck it down and scramble to try to pick up the first down. Now he picks up about 8 yards. But being deep in their own territory, Brian Kelly's got to punt the football away.
What a difference a drive makes. First time Notre Dame goes 6 plays, 75 yards, runs it the whole way, and this time it's a 3 and out for Notre Dame. Punter Jay Bramlett, true freshman, his first college punt, standing back at his own 15. Catches it cleanly, gets it away. Low spiral, backing, taking it at the 25-yard line for a fair catch, Rajay Burns. So that is where Louisville will start in a 7-7 game with 6:22 left in the first quarter. And we will take a break right now. Again, 7-7 between the Fighting Irish and the Cardinals. 6:22 left in the first. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Notre Dame, Louisville tied at 7, 6:22 first quarter. Louisville about to get the football back. Each week, our college football analyst, Derek Rackley, takes over the Westwood One Sports Twitter account just before kickoff. He'll take you live inside the stadium for a behind-the-scenes preview and give you his take on what's about to unfold. Check it out by following Westwood One Sports on Twitter. Did you do that today, Derek?
I did.
Yes, you did.
Yep.
Good. Just wanted to make sure the check wasn't going to go in the mail, okay? Louisville just got a stop. Notre Dame went 3 and out, and now the Cardinals take over at their own 25-yard line on the right hash in a 7-7 ball game. Javian Hawkins is the tailback. Juwan Pass, the quarterback, wiping his hands off on the white towel dangling in front of his black pants. Snap comes. Here comes a rush. He's off his back foot, throwing it to the right side. He just throws it away to the sideline. The pressure was coming. Pass had nowhere to go. 2nd and 10.
Unfortunate, too, that Javian Hawkins, his undersized running back, steps up to pick up one of the blitzers, but Notre Dame bringing all-out blitz on 1st down, and they're successful getting the throwaway by pass.
We talked about it earlier, but Juwan passed just 54% last year. They would love to see him at 60 or above, is what Scott Satterfield said earlier this week, his new head coach. He's in the pistol. Behind him is Javian Hawkins. And he's going to hand it to Hawkins. And Hawkins is wrapped up right around the line of scrimmage. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Big number 57, Jason Adamiola, the sophomore from New Jersey, was the one to tackle it.
And I don't know if that was a zone read type play, but if it was, that's one where pass should have pulled it out of the stomach of his running back, because there was 2 Notre Dame defenders that were bearing down on him. Adamiola gets the tackle, but if he pulls that football out, he likely gets around the right corner.
3rd and 10, Juwan pass. And we're going to have a flag. Looked like Notre Dame jumped. I think it's Khalid Kareem, the defensive end.
Offside. Defense. Number 53. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So, Derek, now both Notre Dame defensive ends have had a penalty.
Yeah, both those guys really anxious to get in the backfield, provide that pass rush, but they got to be a little bit smarter, make sure they're watching the football. And both of these tackles for Louisville, nice job. That was Tyler Haycraft, the right tackle. This time he's the one, same thing that we saw on the opposite one from Becton on the left side. He comes up out of his stance as soon as he sees that Kareem jumps across into the neutral zone.
And that's Haycraft, a former walk-on, making his first career start. So now it's 3rd and 5 for Louisville from their own 30. They need the 35-yard line here. Pass out of the gun. He's going to run the option right. He pitches it. Across the 35 goes Hawkins. 1st down and more. 50. Look out. He's got a lot of room to go. Inside the 30. Cuts back, and he's tripped up at the 26-yard line. But what a run by Javian Hawkins. 43 yards on the option pitch from Juwan pass, and the missed tackle by Owusu Koromoa, who missed a tackle earlier on the previous drive.
Well, we just talked about Tyler Haycraft to the right tackle. That time on the option, he pulls out to the right side and gets a quick little kick-out block, but it's the timing and the decisiveness between pass and Hawkins that makes that option work so well. Gets the football quickly out of his hands. Great pitch. Gets straight upfield.
What a first start for Hawkins. 8 carries, 71 yards so far. Now a little pop pass in front to Tutu Atwell, the slot receiver. He slips inside the 20 to the 17-yard line, right around the line to gain for another 1st down. It's going to be close, but Louisville is moving the football here.
Yeah, they've been trying to set that play up. Atwell's come across the formation in motion a couple of times, just trying to show that play to the defense, number 1, see how they react. See how the linebackers expand when he comes across the formation. Then once they feel like they're settling a little bit, that's when they come back to the play where they just pitch it right in front of them.
They caught him about a yard short, so 2nd down and 1. The ball at the 17. Louisville marching left to right. We're tied at 7 here. 4:20 left, 1st quarter. Faking the handoff. Pass is going for the end zone right side. It's Atwell. He bobbled it and then caught it. They're going to say incomplete. Had he hauled it in without the bobble, he would have been in the end zone, but by the time he bobbled it and grabbed it, Derek, he was out of the back of the end zone.
And that's unfortunate too, Brandon, because that was a beautiful throw by Juwan pass. I mean, he just puts just a tiny bit of air under it, just turns that football over right into the hands of Atwell, and it was almost like Atwell didn't expect it to be so perfectly thrown, because if he just squeezes it with his hands, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, we're getting another look at it right now on the big video monitor. You're exactly right. The ball could not have been put in there any more perfectly, but he couldn't grab it.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. The previous play is under review.
And now you're hearing the crowd cheer because the last second the replay shows that, Derek, maybe he did get the foot in bounds while grabbing it with both hands.
I'll tell you what, between calling games each week and watching them on television, I get a chance to see a ton of replays. Some of them, to me, look really easy. This one is a lot more difficult because I've watched a couple of replays quickly here. What happens is it does look like he gets possession of it right as his right foot comes down, right before it steps in the white in the back of the end zone. The problem is he doesn't completely have it secured. So now it goes to the replay official, and what does he deem as having the football secured?
One thing's for sure, it was only 1 foot that he got down. Of course, that's all he needs. It would not have been a catch in the NFL. The replay official you mentioned is Bob Welsh, and he and referee Dwayne Height are going to have an interesting discussion here to see whether or not this is a touchdown catch by Tutu Atwell.
because they're showing it frozen right now where he's got his left foot on the ground, but then as he continues, the ball kind of comes away from his hands again, and by that time his left foot is up off the ground. So again, to me, it's, does the replay official deem that he's got control when that left foot was down on the ground, which was still in the end zone?
Did a great job out well of beating the coverage of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And a long look here. As it stands right now, it's not a touchdown, and it's 7-7 with 4:15 left in the first quarter. And if it is an incomplete pass, it sets up a 3rd and 1 from the 17. Obviously, if it's complete, Louisville is in the driver's seat with a touchdown.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
And the boos get rained down.
Hey, Brandon, I knew that the crowd was not going to like it, but that was the call that I thought was going to be made, because as he was going out of the back of the end zone, the ball moved one more time again, and to me, he didn't have complete control inbounds. Remember, it was called incomplete, so it's got to be indisputable video evidence that he had control of the football, which I don't think was there.
And now the Louisville offensive lineman telling the crowd, calm down, let's get silent, we got a play to run here. 3rd down and 1 from the 17 of Notre Dame. 4:15 left in the opening quarter. We're tied at 7. Quarterback Juwan pass out of the gun with Javian Hawkins again behind him. Atwell goes in motion. They hand it off. No, pass keeps it. He runs up the middle, and he's got nothing but green grass. Inside the 5 and into the end zone for a Louisville touchdown. He faked the give, ran up the middle. Nobody was home for Notre Dame, and Louisville has their first lead. It's 13-7 with 4:08 left in the first quarter.
You know, the funny part is, Brandon, I thought he should have just handed the ball off, because Javian Hawkins went right through the line of scrimmage and nobody touched him. So if he would have handed it off, he probably runs into the end zone. But as pass comes back, it was almost like he was taking a couple of steps back. He saw the same Red Sea parted in front of him, puts his right foot in the ground, gets upfield, and gets into the end zone.
Juwan Pass had a touchdown run of 8 yards earlier, that one of 17. And now the extra point is good by Blanton Creaky. And the Louisville team that went 2-10 last year looks like they're not around anymore, as the Cardinals have a 14-7 lead. I'm with you, though. I thought Hawkins could have ran it in just as easily, but hey, Pass wanted both touchdown runs.
Really good start by this offense, too. 120 yards rushing combined already in the first quarter.
Again, the score, 14-7, Louisville leading Notre Dame, and we've got a break of the action. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Time to Ask the Pros, where we ask our analysts a question submitted by one of our listeners. Sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Tonight's question coming from Chris German in Evansville, Indiana. What is your opinion about the recent trend of transfers, both graduate and undergraduate, contributing to Power 5 schools? While Derek Rackley takes some time to think about that answer, we remind you that you can submit your questions for our pros by tweeting us at Westwood One Sports using the hashtag AskThePros, or by logging on to westwoodonesports.com/AskThePros, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. That last drive for Louisville, 6 plays, 75 yards, 2:14 off the clock, as they take a 14-7 lead over the number 9 team in the land, Notre Dame. And now Louisville will kick it off to the Fighting Irish with 4:08 left in the first quarter. You know, in that last drive, Louisville was 2 of 2 on third downs.
Yes, they've been really successful so far on third downs, and just they're really not doing anything crazy creative here.
Total yardage, you mentioned the rushing, but Louisville 153 yards, Notre Dame 84 so far. Blanton Creaky gets set to kick it away, approaches and boots it at the 35, left to right. Fair catch being called for and taken a yard deep, so the football will come out to the 25. And we'll see how Notre Dame responds. They've had 2 drives. The first drive, they marched it right down, no problem, 75 yards. Then they went 3 and out.
It just shows, too, what your offense coming out and having success early does. It gets the crowd energized, gets them into the game, and now they'll come out and help support this defense.
Hitting the road? Well, you don't have to miss a second of the action. Use the station finder at westwoodonesports.com to find a radio affiliate wherever your travels take you. That's westwoodonesports.com. Yeah, you're exactly right. This crowd now believes they've got some energy. A new-look Louisville Cardinal team. Ian Book out of the gun to start this drive with Tony Jones behind him. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. He's going to hand to Jones. Jones right side across the 30, diving forward to the 33. So this drive starts with a gain of 8 before he's tackled by Rajay Burns.
Really good combination blocks over on the right side of the offensive line along with the tight end as well. But Tommy Kramer, number 78, was in that action, pushing that line of scrimmage.
And now they'll run this play to the left with Jones. He slips through, gets the first down across the 40, makes 2 men miss all the way out to the 43-yard line. Really well done. A 10-yard gain. Back-to-back carries for Jones.
Now, unlike Louisville with the undersized back, both of Notre Dame's top 2 backs are bigger kids, 220 pounds or more.
Notre Dame going quickly. 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Ball on the left hash, faking the handoff this time. Book rolls to the right, plants his feet. Here comes pressure. Moves to the right some more. Throws on the run and just flips it out of bounds to his teammates on the sideline. Intended in the direction of Lawrence Keys, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, basically just a 2-man route. Right late, they had Chris Fink, the wide receiver, coming from the offensive left back to the right side of the formation, which is the direction that Ian Book was rolling out. But he only had 2 options downfield immediately. Then once that Louisville pressure ended up coming, he had no choice but to throw it away.
3:17 first quarter. Louisville up 14-7. Notre Dame has it 2nd and 10 at their own 43. Under center, Book turns around, hands it off to Jones. Right side run, he's got some space across the 50. Lowers his head, gets the first down. Buried it forward all the way for a couple more yards to the 43 of the Louisville Cardinals. Really nice run by Jones. He's had 3 of them on this drive.
Yeah, Louisville needs to get a little bit of support, run support coming up from the second level. But the linebackers and the safeties need to start filling those gaps outside the tackle box to cut down some of those runs getting outside.
Jones has had runs of 8, 10, now 15 yards on this drive. So Notre Dame in Louisville territory, down by 7. Ian Book out of the gun. The senior quarterback fakes a handoff, drops, throws out to the left, and it is caught out there by Lawrence Keys. He's going to get inside the 40, and he stretches it out to the 37-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5 for the receiver.
Yeah, long throw from Book, too. Little action in the backfield, just trying to get the linebackers to freeze a little bit, give them a little extra time before the rest of the reinforcements come out to make that tackle. But that's from the right hash going all the way out to the left side of the numbers.
Now Jameer Smith is in the backfield with Book. He had the touchdown run earlier for Notre Dame. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. 2nd down at 5. Snap comes, Book drops, pressure comes from the left, and he's taken down. Back at the Louisville Cardinal logo at midfield. Rajay Burns just got enough of Book's left leg to knock him down to the ground.
And many times a right-handed quarterback will see that pressure coming off because it's coming basically in towards his face. But Ian Book was looking left of the formation immediately once he caught that snap. So he didn't see Rajay Burns until right at the last second. He wasn't able to escape the sack.
And it's a huge sack. It's a loss of 8. It makes it 3rd and 13. And the Louisville fans making some noise. They want another stop. 1:38 and rolling first quarter. Ball now at the 45 of Louisville for Notre Dame. They need to get it to the 32. They send Brock Wright, the tight end, in motion. Snap comes. Book drops. Pocket clean. Wait, we've got whistles and a timeout before that snap by Notre Dame.
Prior to the ball being snapped. Timeout. Notre Dame. Their first timeout of the half.
So loud in here, nobody heard the whistles. 60,000 making a lot of noise at Cardinal Stadium. Tonight's broadcast of NCAA football on Westwood One is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmissions, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of JMI Sports, Learfield IMG College, and Westwood One is strictly prohibited. So we'll see what Brian Kelly and offensive coordinator Chip Long, Derek, draw up here on 3rd and 13.
Yeah, they got a chance to see the initial formation from Louisville, which was kind of a prevent. They just had 3 men rushing the quarterback, and they were dropping 8 back basically around the sticks. It looks like it's pretty much the same defensive alignment from Louisville. So look for Notre Dame to try to hit a crossing route underneath this defense and see if the receivers can turn upfield.
2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Jones in the backfield. And they're going to hand it to him. Jones up the middle, across the 40. He's going to get the first down and more. Down the left sideline, 20, 15, 10, and he's pushed out of bounds right around the 10. Wow, a touchdown-saving push there by P.J. Mbanassor, but a run of 35 yards on 3rd and 13.
Wow, that's a risky call, too, because you're sitting way back in 3rd and 13, decide to run the football, but they saw 8 defenders deep, and they felt they liked their chances picking up the first down.
They're going quick. 1st and goal from the 10. Inside handoff, nothing doing. This is going to be a tackle in the backfield. A loss of 1. Gigi Robinson, big nose tackle, swallowing up Tony Jones, 2nd and goal.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little confusion in the backfield, too, about whether or not Ian Book was going to pull that football out of the stomach of Tony Jones, but that gave Gigi Robinson enough time to come up in the backfield and swallow that play down.
40 seconds left in the first quarter, clock rolling. 3 receivers to the right, Book out of the gun for the 11 on 2nd and goal. He's going to hand it to Jones. Jones inside the 10, inside the 5, splits the defenders, and he's into the end zone for the Notre Dame touchdown. So a big 35-yard run on 3rd down sets it up, and then Jones takes it the rest of the way. It's now 14-13. Notre Dame can tie it with the extra point with 29 seconds to go in the opening quarter.
One of the captains, the right tackle, Robert Hainsey, number 72, excellent one-on-one block against the defensive end, his direction, basically just drives him completely out of the play, and then Tony Jones just cuts right off the inside hip of Robert Hainsey and runs into the end zone.
Extra point coming for Jonathan Dorr after the 11-yard touchdown run by Tony Jones. Extra point is on the way, and it is good. What an excellent first quarter. We are all tied up again, and what a first quarter for Tony Jones. 87 yards and a touchdown run as well. With that touchdown, Warner Ladder is making a donation to Coach to Cure MD, dedicated to helping college coaches defeat Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Warner, step up your game with Warner Ladder. Not a bad start for Tony Jones, though. We mentioned Dexter Williams gone to the NFL, but 7 carries, 87 yards and a touchdown, Derek.
Yeah, the 35-yard gain obviously helps out. Same thing for Ian Book. He had the 37-yard gain. So both of those guys averaging over 12 yards a carry. But to me, the gamble was the run on 3rd and 13, maybe recognizing that they're playing that prevent or that dime-style defense with just 3 defensive linemen with their hand on the ground, and then they have 8 guys back, so they felt like they had enough space to get the running back going. And then you just have to have faith that he's going to break a tackle or use his footwork and make somebody miss.
The drive, all told, 9 plays, 75 yards, 3:39 off the clock. 14-14 our score in the opener for Louisville and Notre Dame. Jonathan Dorr now ready to kick it off, right to left. Rajay Burns is back deep. Another high end-over-end kick. Taking it 1 yard deep. He's going to return it. It's Thomas Jackson across the 20, across the 25, and he gets hit hard. Boy, that was Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who's known for big hits. He knocked him forward. Everybody pops up okay. It's a 26-yard return.
Yeah, both sides now getting into the mix as far as big hits on kickoff coverage.
Again, though, he made the decision to return one earlier and only got to the 12-yard line. That time at least got it to the 26.
Yeah, still was a little hesitation, too, right back at the goal line. It just, to me, you always want to catch that ball and just get started right away to pick up as many yards as possible.
Javian Hawkins and Isaac Martin in the backfield. Quarterback Juwan Pass getting ready to roll. 2 receivers to the left. The snap coming for the right hash. But first we've got whistles with 23 seconds left on the clock in the first quarter.
Timeout. Louisville. Their first timeout of the half.
So Notre Dame took a timeout earlier. Now Louisville takes one here. Will the 2020 FCS Football Championship game see a return to the Bison, or will someone else take the crown? Be there to share the experience. January 11th in Frisco, Texas. Tickets are available through the NCAA Ticket Exchange at ncaa.com/FCS. And mentioned the Bison, North Dakota State. They've won 7 of the last 8 FCS titles. So now Louisville, after the timeout, we'll see what they can do. If they run it, this will likely be the final play of the first quarter with just 23 ticks to go. Great first quarter offensively. 312 yards between the two teams. Shotgun snap. Juwan Pass fakes the handoff. Rolls to the right. Throws underneath. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of Thomas Jackson. Boy, he should have caught that. He would have had to turn upfield to try to get a first down, but he just dropped it.
Yeah, you got to make that play. And even if he ends up getting tackled by the defense right after he makes the catch, he's still going to pick up 4 yards, which is a successful play on first down. You just have to make those plays when your quarterback delivers you a really catchable ball.
He's Tutu Atwell's back up in the slot, and he's been a reliable rotation receiver during his career, fifth-year senior, but not that time. 18 seconds left in the quarter now. 2nd and 10 for Louisville from their own 26. Hawkins gets it on the handoff. No, it's going to be a keeper pass. He's going to run it around the left side, and he only gets a couple of yards out to the 28. So that's going to bring up third down. It will also wind us to the end of the first quarter.
What footwork there by Pass, putting the shake on Owusu Koromoa. Thought he had a chance to make that open field tackle, but Juwan Pass had other ideas.
Everybody thought that Hawkins had it. He did not. Pass kept it, but still it's going to be 3rd and 8 when we start the second quarter. That's the end of the first quarter. Very entertaining with the score. Louisville 14, Notre Dame 14. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Westwood One, your home for NCAA football.
WDBO Orlando, WDBO FM HD2 Orlando, broadcasting live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studios. This is ESPN 580 Orlando, streaming live on the ESPN app and ESPNOrlando.com, a Cox Media Group station.
Along with Derek Rackley, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Our score after 15 minutes of play, 14-14 between Louisville and Notre Dame. The start of the second quarter is brought to you by Geico. Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on car insurance. Stats from that first quarter: offensively minded, 159 yards for Notre Dame, 155 for Louisville. And Derek, it was really all on the ground. 138 of those yards for Notre Dame were rushing, 122 for Louisville.
Yeah, just 54 total yards through the air for both teams. So running game has been what's been most predominant here, and I think both defenses are going to need to settle down a little bit. There's been too many missed tackles. There's been too many big, wide holes for these running backs to go through. But outside of that, been pretty clean game. No turnovers and just a couple offside penalties for Notre Dame.
This second quarter will start with a 3rd and 8 for Louisville, and they've got the ball on their own 28-yard line. Juwan Pass, the quarterback, in the gun, with Javian Hawkins to his right. 2 receivers to either side. He drops 4-man rush, tries to flip it out right to Hawkins, incomplete. Try to get it to him out of the backfield, threw it too far in front of him, and now on 4th down, Louisville will punt.
I like the idea, I like the play call, and they had it set up. He's got his right tackle out in front of him. Tyler Haycraft, number 60, was the lead blocker for him, but ball just overthrown by Juwan Pass.
So now we will see the punter Mason King, a 4-year starter, senior. He's back at his own 14-yard line, and ready to return it is Chris Fink for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He's back at his 30. Snap is good, punt is good. High spiral, Fink backing up, taking it at the 20. Looking for space, he has none. He is dropped immediately. Boy, an excellent play by Russ Yeast on special teams. A 51-yard punt and nothing on the return.
You know, when I was in college, one of our coaches used to talk about shoot 'em out. When you're playing defense, sometimes you just got to go low and try to shoot the legs out of your opponent. Russ Yeast doing exactly that. He had a Notre Dame player that was still riding him, trying to block him downfield, but he sees the returner and just goes right for the tackle to get him down on the ground. Excellent open field play.
Mark it at the 18-yard line. That's where Notre Dame will start this next drive. 14:47 second quarter, and we are tied at 14 apiece. Kyron Williams is in the Notre Dame backfield for the first time, a true freshman. He's to the left of Ian Book. Book drops to throw, dumps it to Williams, and Williams dropped it. Now, a defender was starting to come up towards him, but he should have had that at the 19-yard line with a little space to run, Derek.
Yeah, it just gets his eyes upfield before securing the catch. I mean, you've got to see the football first before you decide to look upfield and figure out what your next move is going to be.
And now he's taken off, not for an injury, but just coach's decision after dropping that. Jameer Smith comes on, 2nd and 10 for the Irish. Book out of the gun. And he's going to hand it off to Jameer Smith. Smith stumbling forward for a first down. Got past the 25, and then he lost his footing, but he stayed up enough to get to the 30. First down carry, a gain of 12 before the tackle by P.J. Mbanasour.
Yeah, what body control from Jameer Smith, because it looks like that was going to be about a 2 or 3 yard gain, but then he just keeps kind of stumbling, keeps putting his right hand down on the ground to keep anything else from touching. He's able to pick up the first down.
He had the touchdown run earlier for Notre Dame. 14-14 is the score. So 1st and 10 from the 30. Here's another opportunity. No, it's a fake, and running it to the left is Ian Book after faking the give to Smith, and then he's going to step out of bounds after a gain of a couple. So Book opting to keep that time.
A smart decision, too. Nick Okeke, number 11, outside linebacker, was bearing down on him, trying to chase him down. Ian Book, I like the fact it's a long season ahead of you. Sometimes you have to understand, just get out of bounds or slide down as the starting quarterback.
Give him 3 yards, 2nd and 7. Ball being snapped from the left hash. Tighter formation this time for Notre Dame. Book drops, short drop, throws to the left. It's caught across the 40. First down, Javon McKinley. And then he's shoved out of bounds just shy of the 45. First catch of the season for the senior from Corona, California.
Yeah, really nice timing, too, between Book and McKinley. That's just a speed out to the short side of the field. So you got to get the ball out of your hands quickly before your receiver runs out of real estate on the sideline.
Mark the ball at the 44. First and 10 for Notre Dame as they march towards midfield, left to right on your radio dial, and a tie game. Pistol formation. Book fakes a handoff, moves to the left. Pressure comes. He's got nowhere to go, and he's sacked. He's sacked at the 40-yard line. They were coming up the middle and from the side, and they're going to give Nick Okeke credit for the sack and a loss of 4 yards.
You got to give the assist to number 10, Rajay Burns. He was the one that came off of the offensive right side first. That's what flushed Book over to the left side because of that initial pressure. So Rajay Burns getting into the backfield, causing some havoc early on.
2nd and 14 now for Notre Dame for their own 40. Receiver out wide on either side. Pistol formation again. Faking the handoff. Book looks to throw over the middle. Caught. He threw it behind Claypool, but he was able to turn around, grab it, and then fall forward for the first down at the Louisville 44-yard line. A catch of 16 yards.
Speaking of body control, Chase Claypool, excellent job adjusting back to that football. That was not a well-thrown ball by Ian Book, but Claypool turning all the way back around to make that snag.
Yeah, that was impressive for the top target. Now 1st and 10. Here's a run, left side, it's going to be Jameer Smith. He's going to get to the 40. That'll be a gain of 4. Notre Dame will have a 2nd and 6 coming up.
Irish continuing to rotate those running backs through, running the football a lot in this game, so they want to make sure whichever guy they have on the field is rested and ready to go 100%.
Yeah, the only of the 5 backs listed that we haven't seen is Sebo Flemister, and he is out there right now. So we have seen the full complement from Brian Kelly, 5th-year head coach for the Irish. 2nd down and 6, 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Book out of the shotgun, throws it complete, just shy of the first down marker. It's going to be 2 yards short. Chase Claypool caught it, was dragged down immediately, so that will bring up 3rd and 2, Derek.
You know, I think that's a fine decision because they keep things moving the right direction and they bring up a 3rd and short, but it looked like he had Flemister up the left sideline starting a wheel route if he would have had just a little more patience.
Crowd making some noise. 3rd down for Notre Dame at Louisville's 36. They need to get to the 34. 11-18 and rolling 2nd quarter. They shift 2 men from the left side of the line to the right. Snap comes to Book. He hands off to Jones. Jones looking for space right side. He doesn't have any. A sea of black jerseys takes him down short of the line to gain. In fact, it's in the backfield for a short loss. Dorian Etheridge, C.J. Avery led the way. It's a loss of 2, 4th down coming up.
Yes, the initial pressure by the defensive front getting into the Notre Dame backfield disrupted that play right from the beginning. Got to credit this entire defense because you mentioned the sea of black. That was gang tackling right at the end to make sure they get the ball carrier down on the ground.
And they're going to go for it here. They're in no man's land. 4th and 4 at Louisville's 38. Empty backfield for Book. 2 receivers staggered to the right and left. Now they send Jones in motion into the backfield. Book drops, looks to throw with time. Throw underneath is caught, but I don't think he got the first down. Fink brought it in, but he caught it going to the ground, and he's a yard and a half short, and it's a turnover on downs. Louisville gets the football, and the Cardinal fans go nuts.
You know, I put that on the shoulders of Ian Book, the quarterback, because he had the right route, but that in that situation, when it's 4th and short and you've got to pick up the first down, you've got to stick that football on the numbers of your receiver so he can catch it, he can turn upfield and try to fall forward for the first down. He was not able to do that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Fink couldn't do anything with it. He had to dive to grab it. So that's a 10-play drive that goes nowhere. And it's a 14-14 game still with 10:23 left in the 2nd quarter. There's a break in the action sponsored by Hagerty. Need classic car insurance? Only Hagerty has the expertise and passion to protect your car how it deserves. Get a quote at Hagerty.com or with your local agent. Hagerty, for people who love cars. 14-14 our score, 10:23 left in the half. This is Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football.
In the game, he's got enough arm strength to get it there, but you mentioned that was a left hash throw on a 15-yard comeback on the right sideline. So that throw was not just 15 yards. That was probably more like a 50-yard throw when you factor in across the field.
Juwan passed 3 of 9, mentioned just 54% last year throwing the football. Now here he's going to hand it off. Up the middle goes Hawkins. He's got the first down across the 45 and all the way to the midfield logo. In fact, they'll say he goes into Notre Dame territory to the 49 for a gain of 15.
Once again, Brandon, you see the speed hitting the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's the thing about this young and undersized running back at 182 pounds. He plays a whole lot bigger just because of the fact that he's always running full speed.
Native of Titusville, Florida, and he's going to get the handoff again, patiently looking for space. He's got a couple of yards here. He'll get this to the 46, call it a 3-yard gain before he's tackled by Owusu Koromoa, 2nd and 7.
And that time he met a face mask by Owusu Koromoa right in between the center of his shoulder pads. Now, he did kind of chatter his feet a little bit that time, trying to find his hole and everything, but that also gives the defense time to react. And Owusu Koromoa with a nice hit.
Javian Hawkins, first career start, 8 carries, 71 yards so far for the redshirt freshman. 2nd down and 7, 9:15 to go, second quarter, tied at 14. Juwan pass takes the snap, rolls to the right, sets his feet, throws back to the left, and it's incomplete. Des Fitzpatrick got his hands on it, but it was knocked free by the defense of Kyle Hamilton.
And I was just going to say, Brandon, that's something that this offense is going to have to do because the Notre Dame defense is definitely starting to commit towards stopping the run. You're seeing 7, sometimes 8 players for the Irish in the box because they've seen that this Louisville team has been able to run in between the tackles on them, so they've got to start dropping back and hitting some of those passes to loosen up the linebackers and secondary.
When he threw that, I thought that Hamilton might get to it for an interception, but as it stands, 3rd down and 7. Juwan pass, going out of the gun. They got 3 receivers staggered to the right, 1 to the left. Pass looks to the right, throws that way, and it's incomplete. Intended for Atwell, broken up by Tariq Bracey, the corner, who was right there with him. So 4th down and 7 coming up.
Really good recognition by Bracey, seeing that route develop and basically running it for the receiver to be in proper position to knock that football away.
Louisville now will bring on the punt team, even though they're across midfield. They're only at the 46-yard line. So they send out Mason King for his 2nd punt of the night. Chris Fink back deep around the 10-yard line for Notre Dame. 9:03 left, second quarter, in front of about 60,000 at Cardinal Stadium. Snap is clean. High end-over-end punt by King. Fink coming up, calling for the fair catch right around the 15, and he caught it as he fell down to his left knee. A punt of 31 with no return. 8:54 to go in the half, and our score is 14-14 between Louisville and Notre Dame. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. A reminder to stay with us for the college football halftime report, sponsored by Boost Mobile. Switch now and get unlimited data, talk, and text for the whole family on their super reliable, super fast nationwide network. Boost Mobile, the switch that gives you more. We will preview the NFL season opener between the Bears and the Packers, which can be heard right here on Westwood One. Quarterback Mitch Trubisky will talk to our Jim Gray. That's coming up at the half. 14-14 our score between Louisville and Notre Dame. 8:54 left in the second quarter, and Notre Dame will start this drive at their own 15 on the left hash. Ian Book, the quarterback, 6 of 10, 54 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He's in the shotgun. Jameer Smith to his right. Snap comes, fakes a handoff, throws over the middle, caught by Claypool. Claypool avoids one defender, but then he's draped down a yard shy of the first down marker. Taken down at the 24 after a gain of 9. The tackle by C.J. Avery.
Nice job holding on to the football, too, by Claypool. As Kane passed number 30, the safety came down, delivered a hit immediately when he caught it.
Again, a shotgun snap. Faking the handoff. Book's going to keep it. He's going to run right, try to get to the marker. Ball popped in the air. He fumbled it. It went into the hands of Jameer Smith, and then he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Kane pass, knocking it free, and the ball popped in the air. Jameer Smith was Johnny on the spot to avoid the turnover. 3rd down coming up.
Just stole it from me. I was just going to say Jameer on the spot. You stole it from me.
3rd down and about 1.5 yards as we hit the 8-minute mark. Here comes the snap. Handoff to Smith. He tries to run it up the middle. He's stuffed. No gain. Amante Caban leading the charge defensively for Louisville, getting to Smith in the backfield, and on 4th down, Notre Dame will punt it.
You've got to have those timely defensive plays when you get into a situation like this, when a team's trying to go fast on you, 3rd and short. You get your defensive end, Caban, number 53, knifing into the backfield, getting that tackle behind the line of scrimmage to force this punt team out on the field.
What a defensive stand for Louisville. Now Notre Dame has Jay Bramlett back at the 10-yard line. Rajay Burns for Louisville on the other side of the field, set to try to return it. 14-14 the score, 7 and change left in the half. Low punt off the side of the foot. It hits across midfield and actually won't turn out too bad for Notre Dame as it rolls over on its side and goes out of bounds right around the 36 or 37. 41 yards on that punt, nothing on the return. But there is just a different feel, a different energy. Scott Satterfield's first game, and his team is tied with the number 9 team in the land.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 95, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, 1st down.
So that will obviously not help Louisville, back them up 10 yards. And we will take a break. 7:09 left in the half. 14-14 is our score. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Louisville, Notre Dame tied up, 7:09 second quarter, and it's time to select our AutoZone In the Zone College Football Player of the Week for this weekend.
How about quarterback Jalen Hurts, the Oklahoma Sooner Jalen Hurts? He only goes out and completes 87% of his passes, 20 out of 23, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, but Brandon, he wasn't done yet. 16 carries, 176 yards on the ground, another 3 touchdowns in that 49-31 win over Houston, a game you heard right here on Westwood One.
Well, he was definitely in the zone and was our College Football Player of the Week, sponsored by AutoZone. When your check engine light comes on, your day can get a little complicated. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help give you some answers and get you back on the road. Get in the zone, AutoZone. So Louisville, after that penalty, their first penalty of the game, will start this drive at their own 26. 7:09 left in the second quarter, tied at 14 with the number 9 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Quarterback Juwan Pass, 0 for his last 6, 3 of 11 total. He takes it, pop pass in front to Atwell, the slot receiver, around the right side across the 35, tripped up. He did get the first down, but that might have been a touchdown-saving tackle by Jalen Elliott, the safety.
The second time we've seen that play, but Des Fitzpatrick, the wide receiver, he's the one that makes it. He's the one that's blocking on the right side, out on the perimeter, gets that lead block just to give Atwell enough time to get around the corner.
Boy, Atwell is speedy. He's also the smallest guy on the roster at 153 pounds. He got 13 yards that time. So the ball is right around the 40. On the right hash, Atwell goes in motion. Pass turns around, hands it off. Here come flags flying in. Run to the right side by Hawkins. He's taken down around the line of scrimmage. But we'll have to see what the laundry is about. Referee Dwayne Height meeting with the other Zebras before making the announcement.
Personal foul, illegal chop block, offense, number 55 and 59, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So, Derek, that's on the left guard Chandler and the center McCoy.
Yeah, what happens is you get one guy is engaged high with the defensive player while the other one goes down low to try to cut block, which the cut block is okay, but you can't have somebody engaged with him, so they don't want a defensive player tied up and then all of a sudden somebody shoots down to cut his legs out.
That's a tough one because now it's 2nd and 25 for Louisville. The ball will go all the way back to the 25 on the right hash. Juwan Pass, the quarterback, looking over at the sideline, getting the instructions. Louisville coaches have, as you often see, especially in college, 2 big poster boards with different signals on them to help guide the quarterback. Javian Hawkins is the tailback behind him. Pass, waits for the snap, gets it, fakes it to Atwell, who was coming across in front of him. Now rolls to the right. He's going to tuck it and run. And there's nothing there. Notre Dame defense sniffing it out. 5 white shirts driving Juwan Pass to the ground, led by Drew White. And it's going to be 3rd and a country mile coming up here for Louisville.
Yeah, he tucks this football down and tries to make something out of nothing, and he runs right into the 230-pound linebacker, Drew White, and he just drives him backwards.
A loss of 2, 2nd down and 27 as the ball is now back at the 23-yard line. Hawkins stays on the field as the tailback, standing to the left of Juwan Pass. 5:30 to go in the half. We're tied at 14. Two receivers to either side. Pass. Looks. Notre Dame rushes 4. Throw over the middle. Batted down. Good defense by Drew White, the Mike linebacker. Knocking it right down to the ground with no flag. 3rd and 27 coming up.
And I like the technique, too, by White. As he's trailing a wide receiver coming across the formation, he reaches around the receiver with his right arm to knock the football down, but leaves the left arm free, meaning most of the times guys will try to tuck that left arm around the hip of the receiver, and that's when they get called for pass interference.
Javian Hawkins goes off. Hassan Hall comes on in the backfield for Louisville. 3rd and 27, 3 receivers left. They're going to turn around, hand it to Hall. He runs across the 30, lowers his shoulder, gets to the 35, but that's nowhere near the 50 where he needed to go to pick up the first down. So Louisville just getting a few of those yards back, and now they will have to punt it back to the Irish after a gain of 12.
Yeah, we had just talked about Louisville and how they were staying out of their own way, if you will, and the lack of penalties, and then they get the penalty on the kick return and then the illegal chop block, and it just kind of took the sails out of everything. The crowd quieted down, the offense kind of lost their momentum, and they ended up with a 3rd and 27 situation, almost impossible to pick up.
King on to punt, catches the snap right at his waist. A high wobbler coming up, Chris Fink. He will take it just shy of the 30 on the other side of the field for the number 9 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. A punt of 36 yards and nothing on the return. 4:36 to go in the half with the score. Louisville 14, Notre Dame 14. There's a break in the action. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Welcome back to Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Along with Derek Rackley, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You're listening to the 5-Hour Energy College Football Game of the Week on Westwood One. For energy on the go, it's got to be 5-Hour Energy. Works fast, works long, tastes good, and with 0 sugar and 4 calories, there's nothing holding you back. Our score, 14 apiece between the Cardinals and the Irish. 4:36 to go in the second quarter. Just the second all-time meeting between these two programs. And Derek, it's been a darn good one.
It has. It's kind of slowed down a little bit here in the second quarter. Just over 10 minutes into the second quarter. Nothing's really happened compared to what we saw in the first 15 minutes. Let's see which one of these two teams has got up their sleeve in the last 4 minutes and 36 seconds.
Notre Dame jumped out to the early lead. Louisville answered. Louisville went up, Notre Dame answered. Now Notre Dame has it at their own 29 to start this drive, 1st and 10. Ian Book, the quarterback, going up to the line to bark out some orders. Now he's in the shotgun. Jameer Smith to his left. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Snap comes after the clap of the hands. It's a handoff to Smith, running right side around the edge. He'll get to the 30. Just a gain of 1. 2nd and 9 coming up.
Again, that Louisville defense getting some penetration in the backfield, kind of forcing these running backs to make a decision, maybe cutting it up field one hole too early because of that penetration.
Gigi Robinson with a nice tackle, so now 2nd and 9 as we tick down towards 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Snap comes to Book, hands it off, up the middle goes Smith this time, and the same result. A yard, maybe a yard and a half. So 3rd and 8 coming up. Monty Montgomery with a tackle that time for Louisville.
And that's what happens when you play good run defense, especially with a team that wants to go fast. You get a couple quick stops, only about 40 seconds have come off the clock, and they're already facing a 3rd and long.
And now this Louisville fan base is re-engaged here. 3rd down and 8 from the right hash. Book out of the gun. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Drops to throw. Steps up. Now he's going to tuck it and take off, and he's brought down at the 34-yard line, well short of the line to gain. Dorian Etheridge with a stop, and it will be a 3 and out for Notre Dame.
Again, just shows how important it is to get a couple of stops early on, because if that ends up being 3rd and 2, same play, Ian Book drops back and he scrambles, he likely picks up the first down. But the fact that it was sitting back at 3rd down and 8, if you're going to scramble as a quarterback, you're really going to have to make a few people miss to pick up the first down.
So Bramlett on, wiping his hands off on the towel behind him before he punts this away. Rajay Burns back deep inside his own 30 for Louisville. And the all-black unis and the black helmets. Bramlett gets it away. Good-looking punt. Burns backpedaling. Fair catch called for right around the 20. Well, Jay Bramlett, they said they love this freshman punter, ironically from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, but he goes to Notre Dame, a 47-yard boot, nothing on the return. Later on, we'll select the drive of the game, sponsored by Geico. Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. So Louisville gets a stop. Now they take over. As you said, the offense not nearly as potent for both of these sides in the second quarter like it was in the first quarter, where we had all 28 of our points. Pass. Takes a shotgun snap, turns around, hands it off, and really nothing there for Hassan Hall as he's dragged down at the line of scrimmage at the 22nd and 10.
I think, again, it goes back to the fact that Notre Dame is really stacking the box because of all the success Louisville had running the football early. So they're going to have to find a way, whether it's some play action, it's getting pass outside the pocket, but he's going to have to loosen this defense up through the air a little bit if they want to get back to the run game.
And the run game is what's been kind to both of these teams, both right around 150 yards. Second down and 10. Pass goes up to the line of scrimmage, shouts something out. Now he's back with Hassan Hall behind him. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Hall, tries to go forward, but he's hit and met at the line of scrimmage by Alohi Gilman. He was right there. Never took him down to the ground, just wrapped him up, drove him back. And that will bring up 3rd and 10.
And see, that's a prime example, Brandon. Right before the snap, they bring Alohi Gilman up to the line of scrimmage, and he's basically playing just outside the defensive end. So then when they try to run that option, he's got his defensive end, Ogundeji. He ends up taking the running back. Gilman takes the quarterback. They've got everybody covered up. They're able to get the stop.
1:38 and rolling left in the first half. Juwan Pass facing a 3rd and 10 here. Takes his mouthpiece out, talks to his offensive line, backs up. His heels are on his 15. The snap coming from the 20. It comes, he takes it, and he's going to take off and run. Left side, 2 defenders in front of him. He's not going to escape anybody. He does get 6 yards somehow out of that. And wait, did he lose the football at the end? Notre Dame picks it up and says they have it. Alohi Gilman holding the football. We don't have a signal. Juwan Pass saying he was down.
There's seconds. Time out of the half. 30 seconds. Timeout.
Notre Dame is going to take a timeout, but they are not giving Notre Dame the football right now. They're saying the pass was down.
Ruling on the field that the ball carrier was down prior to the ball coming loose. 4th down.
And that would bring up 4th and 4.
And Notre Dame gets a very similar stop that we just talked about with the Louisville defense, getting a couple of early stops.
Ruling on the field is that the ball carrier was down prior to the ball coming loose. The previous play is under review.
There you go.
Yeah, so they're going to take another look at this, see if that ball ended up coming out before they were down on the ground. But as it stands right now, Notre Dame defense buckling down to get the stop just like Louisville did.
Yeah, some big-time adjustments really in this second quarter. They're showing the replay, and we're trying to get a vantage point up here in the booth. Looks like it's going to be one of those it's tough to tell. Of course, remember the call on the field that the runner was down, the quarterback Juwan Pass. Julian Okora made the tackle and then stripped by Alohi Gilman, who recovered the football. Well, Derek, you've had a couple looks. Can you tell anything yet?
Well, the first angle that I saw wasn't. Actually, I think this football is out because they just showed another angle, and as Pass is coming towards the ground, his knee does not look down, and that ball starts coming out. I'd like to see one more look, but I think this one might end up being a fumble, and there was a clear recovery, which is what you have to have after, in this type of situation, after a fumble, is a clear recovery by the defense.
It's being a long look here. Dwayne Height with 3 officials around him. He's talking to the replay official up in the booth, Bob Welsh, to try to determine. Analyst Derek Rackley is peering closely into the monitor. You think it's out?
No, this is out. I think this is going to get overturned, and this is going to be Notre Dame football.
And the longer that the review goes on, the higher the likelihood that it will be overturned. If it is overturned, Notre Dame's going to be in great field position with 1:17 left right around the 25-yard line.
They're going back and forth in slow motion on the review, and they're looking to see whether or not the right knee from Juwan Pass goes down before the football comes out. But to me, it's clear that his knee is still off the ground once that football starts coming loose.
Notre Dame, by the way, has 1 timeout left.
We talk about
looking at it.
Talk about a big swing here for them to potentially get the football around, what are they at, about the 25, 27-yard line?
Yeah, right around the 25. Still have not, to this point, had a turnover from either side in this football game. But that could be changing here momentarily.
Yeah, the one thing that was interesting is he changed the football from one side.
After review, the ball came loose prior to the ball carrier touching the ground. It'll be Notre Dame football, first down. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 20 seconds. 1 minute and 20 seconds.
And just like that, we have our first turnover, and it will be Notre Dame football at Louisville's 26.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity for the Irish offense after kind of hitting a stall here in the second quarter to get great field position after their defense comes up with the turnover.
And important to note, they got a timeout back, so they have 2 timeouts now left. 1:20 left in the second quarter. Tie game at 14. Notre Dame football at Louisville's 26-yard line on the right hash. So Ian Book and company back on the field. Tony Jones, the tailback, to his left. Book fakes the handoff to Jones. Steps up in the pocket. Now he's going to tuck it and run. He dropped the football. It's on the ground. Body's diving after it around the 23. Louisville is signaling that they have it. Waiting for confirmation. They do have it. Back-to-back quarterback fumbles. First by Louisville, and now by Notre Dame, and the Cardinals get it back with 1:09 remaining in the half.
What's even a little bit more troubling, Brandon, is that his own player ended up knocking it out. It was Ian Book runs into number 89, Brock Wright, and it wasn't even a big hit, so that tells me that Book really didn't have the football security as he's running with it, and you just can't have that happen after you get a gift from your defense, excellent field position. In one play, you caught the football up, not to mention the fact that he had Lawrence Keys down the seam, number 13. If he just gets the football out of his hands, he can likely bang it in there on a quick post route for a touchdown.
Instead, Dorian Etheridge picks up the fumble for Louisville, and Notre Dame was already in field goal range, is going to get nothing out of that. Give it back to Louisville. They've got a couple of timeouts now with 1:09 to go. Low snap, and Juwan passed. He lost it. He never had control of it. Now Notre Dame says they have it, and they do. Are you kidding me? Back-to-back fumbles within 10 seconds of each other after we did not have a turnover coming into that point. And with 1:03 left, Notre Dame gets the football back. Unbelievable.
And this is just a lack of concentration, because this is a shotgun snap that's fumbled by pass, and it was not a bad snap. Was it down around his knees or his thighs? Yes, but to me, that's a quarterback that's already thinking about what he's going to do next before making sure he secures that shotgun snap from the center. So now Notre Dame back with the football on the 20-yard line.
Holy cow, Jack Lamb the one to recover it. The ball on the 20. Notre Dame has it. Try to stick with us here. 14-all, 1:03 left second quarter. Tony Jones in the backfield to the right of Book. Book, he's going to fake the handoff. He's going to run it. Run right side, inside the 15, inside the 10, and he's shoved out of bounds right around the 10-yard line by Kane Pass. They will give him the first down, first and goal at the 8.
The one thing I remember from watching that semifinal game last year against Clemson is Book threw an interception, comes right back on the next drive and makes a couple of great plays. So he's got a great short-term memory as a quarterback.
He's in the shotgun, takes a snap, hands it off, going up the middle, Jones, and Jones will get to the 6, a gain of 2. Notre Dame has a couple of timeouts, the clock at 47 seconds and rolling.
Yeah, they're definitely in the driver's seat now after that first down run by Book that was able to get him inside the 10-yard line, so they can be a little bit more judicious about when they use their timeouts.
Clock at 32, 31, 30. Book in the shotgun, 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Fakes the handoff, drops the throw, throws right side, out of the back of the end zone. In the direction of Brock Wright, the tight end, incomplete. 23 seconds to go, and now it is 3rd and goal.
I like the idea, again, from offensive coordinator Chip Long, to go some play action in the backfield to try to get the linebackers to get their eyes tied up in the backfield and then go to your tight end at 6'4.5" at the back of the end zone, just overthrown by Ian Book.
3rd and goal from the 6. We've not had a field goal attempt yet in this first half. We might have one coming up. 14-all, 23 seconds left, second quarter. Jones splits out wide left, empty backfield. Bunch formation to the right. Now we got a flag coming in. This is going to be a false start.
Ball start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Liam Eichenberg, senior left tackle.
Yeah, just sitting in his stance there, and he kind of had his internal clock start to go off, and he started leaning back a little bit, and then just takes one little flinch back out of his stance for the 5-yard penalty.
So that is a big one. Backs him up to the 11. 3rd down and goal. Book in the shotgun. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Ball being snapped between the hashes. Book drops, looks to the right, fakes the throw. Now he takes off inside the 10, inside the 5. He dives. Touchdown, Notre Dame. What a play. Book faked the pass, but he wanted to run it the entire time, and he did. 11 yards into the end zone, and Notre Dame has regained the lead at 20-14 with 17 seconds left in the second quarter, and it all comes, Derek, after that crazy sequence of back-to-back-to-back quarterback fumbles.
3 turnovers, and Notre Dame is the benefactor. They end up getting the last one, but Ian Book, they motion the running back out of the backfield to an empty set, and he sees the opening on the left side, turns on the jets to get into the end zone.
And it makes Cardinal Stadium go quiet here before intermission. Extra point now, snap and hold good. Kick on the way, and Jonathan Dorr knocks it through. 21-14, Fighting Irish back in the driver's seat. But that sequence of 3 straight fumbles to set all that up was one of the strangest college football sequences I've ever seen.
Exactly. I've seen a lot of things happen, but not 3 turnovers happen that quick of a span, especially deep in Louisville territory. They had 2 chances there to get it out, potentially march down the field to put points on the board, but instead, after 2 turnovers on their behalf, they end up giving up a touchdown and the lead here just before halftime.
So Book with the rushing touchdown. All 3 of those fumbles were by the quarterbacks on the 3 straight plays. Stay up to date with Westwood One Sports by following us on Twitter at Westwood One Sports. That's Westwood, the number 1 that's sports. You'll also find a link to our Twitter page and much, much more at westwoodonesports.com. Some of the folks heading for the concession stands and the tailgate lots right now for the halftime break. With 17 seconds to go, Hassan Hall is back deep for Louisville, ready to kick it away. Jonathan Dorr boots it left to right, and he's just going to do a little pooch kick, and it's going to hit down inside the 20, and boy, it checks up nicely like a pitching wedge. Your pitching wedge, Derek Rackley, certainly not mine.
Years ago,
and
anyway.
The 17-yard line is where the ball will be.
Louisville letting that ball bounce around a little bit too much for my liking. That's a free ball.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Notre Dame won the toss and they took the football, so Louisville's going to get it here in the 3rd quarter. So I would just expect a really easy running play or just taking a knee so they can come back in the 3rd quarter. Try not to do anything crazy on these last 17 seconds here.
And even though it's a deflating end of the half for Louisville, Scott Satterfield and company have to be pleased all in all with how they're facing the number 9 team in the country. Shotgun snap coming to Juwan Pass. He's going to turn it off, turn around and hand it to Hassan Hall across the 20 right side. He's got the first down, and then he's escorted out of bounds right across the 30 with 10 seconds to go. 12-yard gain from Hassan Hall, the sophomore from Atlanta. Cardinals lining up, same formation where they have 2 in the backfield along with the quarterback, Juwan Pass. Again, it's another handoff. Hall this time is dragged out of the backfield. Really nice play by Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and that will take us to the end of the second quarter with Notre Dame owning a 21-14 lead.
Well, what worked so well for Louisville in the first quarter was running the football, getting the ball into the hands of Javian Hawkins. At the end of 1, he had 8 carries for 71 yards. At the end of the half, he has 8 carries for 71 yards. They were not able to get the football in his hands, which I think is part of the reason why things slowed down for this Louisville offense. And that crazy turn of events with those 3 turnovers really made the difference right there at the end of the first half.
And with the end of the first half, we have our score, Notre Dame 21, Louisville 14. When we return, Lance Meadow rejoins us from our studios with a Boost Mobile halftime report. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One.
Welcome to the Westwood One College Football Halftime Report, sponsored by Boost Mobile. Switch now and get unlimited data, talk, and text for the whole family on their super reliable, super fast nationwide network. Boost Mobile, the switch that gives you more. Once again, here's Lance Meadow.
At the half at Cardinal Stadium, Notre Dame 21, Louisville 14. A first half in which we experienced 3 straight fumbles by both quarterbacks. Tonight's game wraps up week 1 of the college football season, and Thursday night the NFL will officially kick off the 2019 campaign as NFC North rivals the Bears and Packers collide at Soldier Field. Last season, Chicago posted a 12-4 record to claim the division title, thanks in part to quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, who thrived in his first season under new head coach Matt Nagy. Our very own Jim Gray has more.
Thanks, Lance. The Bears and the Packers will celebrate NFL 100 this Thursday night right here on Westwood One. Earlier, I had a chance to speak to Bears quarterback Mitch Trubisky. It's been a very long offseason. How grateful are you to be able to put that frustration behind you and not have to answer any more questions about a missed field goal?
Yeah, I mean, we're just excited for tonight. We've had a long offseason, and we're just excited to play in the first game and kick off the season. And whatever happened in the past, I mean, that's the past. We're ready to roll, and I think this team just excited and ready to kick things off. And so we're looking forward to see all the hard work we put in and see how it pays off this year.
Mitch, do you expect any rust? You didn't play any really in the preseason. You handed the ball off 3 times. Now you get thrown right back into the fire against the Packers. Can practice replicate and duplicate what you need to be ready?
I definitely think it can. I think especially going against our really good defense, it gets you prepared for everything else you're going to see throughout the year and being ready for the speed of the game. But I don't think really any preseason in general can get you ready for that first snap. And the only thing that could help us on game night is what we did in that week in practice, the week of practice we had, how well we know our game plan, and everyone just executing, going out and doing their jobs. So if we just stay in the moment, everyone does their jobs and execute the play at hand, I think we'll just be all right, and you won't see any rust on the field. So,
Mitch, this is your 3rd time going against Aaron Rodgers. Do you think about that while you're on the field and the need to score points, maybe more points than normal because you're facing Aaron Rodgers?
No, not at all. And I don't even feel like I'm going against him. I'm going against Mike Patton, that good defense, and all the new guys they brought in this year. So we got a new challenge every time we go against them, and we know it's a big rivalry game. But whoever steps on the field, and I know they're gonna throw some new stuff at us. But I got a lot of faith in my guys on offense, and we also got a really great defense that they got to try to score on. Which I know that's going to be tough for a lot of teams this year, and we just got to rely on them, and everyone just got to do their jobs. So I got a lot of faith in my teammates, and all I got to do is get the ball to them, and I think it'll all work out.
You can hear much more of that interview Thursday night when the Bears take on the Packers on the opening game of the season. Join me, Jim Gray, along with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald in the pregame show starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner will have the call right here on Westwood One. Lance, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Jim. On the other side of this matchup are the Packers, who are looking to get back to the playoffs under new head man Matt LaFleur. He's looking forward to ushering in a new era of Green Bay football.
Anytime you get the opportunity to kick off the NFL season, let alone the 100th year and in a rivalry game, I mean, I know that the atmosphere is going to be electric, but I'm excited, and I'm excited about just getting our preparation in and doing that the right way, and we'll go kick off Thursday night.
You can hear that game right here on Westwood One and stay with us all season long for the most NFL action anywhere. Monday nights, Sunday nights, Thursday nights, the London games, Thanksgiving, plus the entire postseason, 68 games in all, from opening weekend all the way through Super Bowl 54. The halftime score at Cardinal Stadium, Notre Dame 21, Louisville 14. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Welcome back to Westwood One's coverage of college football. From the Progressive Insurance Studios, I'm Lance Meadow. Pick from a range of coverage options with the Name Your Price tool to find the price that works for you. At the half, it is Notre Dame in front of Louisville 21-14 in Kentucky. And you could join us again Saturday night when Westwood One brings you a top 10 college football matchup, number 6 LSU colliding with 10th-ranked Texas. Ryan Ratke and Derek Rackley will have all the action for you beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. This is their first meeting since the 2003 Cotton Bowl. And how about this nugget? Tigers quarterback Joe Burrow tied an LSU single-game record with 5 touchdown passes before halftime in LSU's 55-3 win over Georgia Southern this past weekend. For more details or to listen to the live stream for free, visit WestwoodOneSports.com. If it's NCAA football, it's on Westwood One. The halftime score once again at Cardinal Stadium. It is Notre Dame 21, Louisville 14. When we return, we'll rejoin Brandon Gaudin and Derek Rackley at Cardinal Stadium. This is Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football.
We welcome you back to Louisville, Kentucky, Cardinal Stadium, and it is the Cardinals down by 7 to the number 9 ranked team in the land, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 21-14, Notre Dame leads it. Here at Intermission with Derek Rackley, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and let's check the halftime stats. Sponsored by Fidelity Investments. Fees matter. At Fidelity, you'll know what you're paying and why. Visit fidelity.com/value to invest with zero trade-offs. Fidelity Brokerage Services, NYSE, SIPC. From that first half, total offense pretty even. 246 yards for Notre Dame, 208 for Louisville. A majority of those on the ground for both teams. Notre Dame rushed for 183 yards, Louisville for 161. Now, if you look at the quarterbacks throwing the ball, limited numbers. Book for Notre Dame, 7 of 12, 63 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Juwan Pass, 4 of 13 for Louisville, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He did have 2 rushing touchdowns. And, of course, those quarterbacks combined for a strange sequence late in the second quarter where there were 3 straight fumbles between them. 2 for Louisville, 1 for Notre Dame that eventually gave Notre Dame the last touchdown to take that 21-14 lead.
Yeah, and the thing that's kind of shocking to me is that neither team has been able to throw the football downfield. I mean, usually you're going to have one team that's going to be a little bit more dominant than the other, and maybe they're going to throw it better than they run it or vice versa, but both of these teams combining for about 110 yards of passing offense combined, and that's not a whole lot. I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing both these defense stack the boxes, but very interesting that neither team having any success through the air.
Yeah, that first quarter, 314 yards of total offense. Second quarter, 140. So a little flip the script there between quarter 1 and quarter 2. This has been the College Football Halftime Report on Westwood One, sponsored by Boost Mobile. Switch now and get unlimited data, talk, and text for the whole family on their super reliable, super fast nationwide network. Boost Mobile, the switch that gives you more. The halftime score, 21-14, Notre Dame leading Louisville. The second half kickoff is coming up. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Halftime, Notre Dame leading Louisville 21-14. Brandon Gaudin, Derek Rackley with you, and it's time to ask Derek Rackley what each team needs to do in the second half to get the job done. Sponsored by Express Jobs. If you are ready for a better job, it's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Apply on the Express Jobs app or at expresspros.com. Job seekers never pay a fee at Express. All right, Derek, how about Notre Dame in the second half?
All right, their leading rusher, Tony Jones Jr., he needs to get some touches here early on in the third quarter because in the first quarter he had 7 touches. The second quarter, just 2. Didn't really get any chance to do anything in the second quarter, even though he's got 9 carries for 87 yards, almost a 10-yard average. In Louisville, it's just ball security. It's an area that plagued them last year, and they were good for about 26 minutes in the first half, and then they ended up having 2 turnovers. One of those turned into a touchdown for Notre Dame, so they've got to protect the football here in the second half.
And then how about for Louisville?
That was Louisville right there. I would tell you they got to lock the football down and to get Javian Hawkins involved in this game as well. He's another one that had a lot of carries in that first quarter, really non-existent in the second quarter because Notre Dame was stacking the box and they felt like they had to go another route, get out on the perimeter, or start throwing the football.
Notre Dame kicking off the Louisville right to left. It's the Irish with a 21-14 lead. With 15 minutes on the clock in the third quarter, Thomas Jackson back deep to receive the kick of Jonathan Dorr, which is end over end in the air and about 4 yards deep, and he'll go to a knee on the Cardinal logo in the end zone. So we will see if, as you were talking about, Derek, the passing picks up in the second half. The first half dominated by running as Juwan Pass brings out this Cardinal offense.
Yeah, he didn't really have a good first half throwing the football, just 4 of 13. Not an area of strength for him right now, but he's going to have to be able to find some of his receivers downfield if they want to get this running game going again.
It's the first half of 2s for Juwan Pass. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 sacks, and then the 2 fumbles. And the last one proving costly, setting up the Notre Dame go-ahead score at the end of the second quarter. He's in the shotgun his pass. Hawkins to his right, 2 receivers to either side. Ball snapped from the 25. Press rush coming, throws left to Atwell. He caught it across the 30, across the 35. Between the hashes, he dives past the 40, and then the football's loose. It's on the ground. Thought he's diving after it around the 37-yard line. They say that Louisville recovers it. So Atwell, as he was diving forward, had the ball jarred free, but Louisville able to pounce on it and keep the possession at the 37-yard line. It was Thomas Jackson who recovered it for the home team.
Almost looked as if he was down at first contact looking at the replay.
And that's what some of the fans are moaning about. Well, you just got another look at it. You still think the same thing?
Yeah, I think he's down. I think his
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Louisville. The previous play is under review.
And that would be a change of about 5 or 6 yards from where he went down because the ball went backwards.
Yeah, his left knee ends up hitting the ground, and then right when the rest of his body comes down is when the football gets popped out. And once his left knee touches, he's down on the ground. So I think this is going to end up coming back to where he's initially tackled.
He was hit by Sean Crawford. That's what prompted the ball being jarred free. And it would be at the 42-yard line if they overturn this. As it stands right now, it's at the 37. Again, either way, it's Louisville football.
Coming right on the heels, though, of me mentioning a key in the second half is ball security.
Yeah.
In the very first play, the ball comes out.
And again, there was great ball security in the first half until the final 2 minutes where we had the quarterbacks exchange 3 straight fumbles.
At the review, the ball carrier was down at the 41-yard line. First down, Louisville. Please reset the game clock to 14 minutes and 55 seconds. 14:55.
So there's the word from Dwayne Height that gives Louisville 4 extra yards. Put the ball at the 41. Man, though, I'll tell you what, when Tutu Atwell gets it, and I think he maybe looks faster because he's 153 pounds, but he can go.
No, he's fast and quick. And I think it was a really good play design. First motioning him out towards the sideline. He started kind of in a tight slot. He motions out toward the sideline, and then at the snap, he comes back in towards the middle of the field.
Second play of the third quarter, shotgun snap, turnaround. Here's a handoff to Javian Hawkins. Hawkins up the middle, and he'll get it across the 45 to the 46 for a gain of 5. It'll bring up 2nd and 5.
Hearing some applause from the crowd. They're happy to see Hawkins get the football back in his hands and pick up 5 yards. That's what they need. They need him to be able to keep them on schedule with the chains. From what I've seen so far, Brandon, I don't think this is a good 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10 team offensively with pass at the quarterback position.
Hawkins now 9 carries, 76 yards. Those are the first ones since the first quarter. Shotgun snap, turn around, hand it off to Hawkins again. He's looking for space right side. Little stutter step across the 50, diving towards the first down marker. Looked like he got it, and he did. First down, Louisville, just enough to pick it up.
Pretty good patience there in the backfield, too, allowing his blockers up front, most notably the right tackle once again. Tyler Haycraft mentioned his name a few times, just letting him continue to drive the defensive end upfield, and then right at the last second he cuts off of his block.
And again, that's that former walk-on at right tackle from right here in Louisville. So a fresh set of downs in Notre Dame territory where the Irish up 7. Louisville snaps it, turnaround, handoff again to Hawkins. This time left side, he's got some yardage out to the 40, tackled from behind. Actually, they'll call it at the 41-yard line, a pickup of 8. Khalid Kareem is the one that got him from behind. Otherwise, it would have been a first down and then some.
Yeah, like the ball security that time. And the reason why I say that is because as Hawkins gets tackled from the behind from Kareem, that's a lot of times when the football gets knocked out. That left arm from Kareem kind of comes around to try to rake the football out. But really good, they call it 5 points of pressure, making sure that the ball is really sandwiched to your body.
2nd and about 2.5 here. Pistol set again. Snap from the left hash. 2 receivers right. And they're going to go again with a heavy dose of the running back. And this is no gain. A hit at the line and a big pop as Hassan Hall got knocked by Alohi Gilman coming up from that safety spot.
Remember me telling you about him being a thumper?
Yeah.
He is not afraid to hit somebody. And that's what I like about him. 5'10 and a half, 200 pounds. I think he plays more like he's 215 or 220 the way that he comes in there and hits people.
Second team preseason All-American, and he laid the lumber there. So no gain. 3rd down and 2, 12:27 and rolling third quarter. Louisville in Notre Dame territory. Hassan Hall in the backfield to the left, the Juwan pass. And wait, we got whistles and a timeout by Louisville before the snap.
Timeout. Louisville, their first time out of the half.
So maybe Scott Satterfield saw something he did not like. And the timeout comes with 12:18 left in the third quarter with a score, Notre Dame 21, Louisville 14. This is Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football. We welcome you back to Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky, along with Derek Rackley. I'm Brandon Gaudin. You're listening to the 5-Hour Energy College Football Game of the Week on Westwood One. For energy on the go, it's got to be 5-Hour Energy. Works fast, works long, tastes good, and with 0 sugar and 4 calories, there is nothing holding you back. 12:18 to go in the third quarter. Notre Dame with a 21-14 lead. Louisville has a 3rd and 2 coming up, Derek, from Notre Dame's 40, so this could be 4-down territory.
Yeah, it could be, because you get kind of in no man's land with that deep field goal situation, but I think it's an important 3rd down, especially 3rd and short, coming out of the break. You get on the opponent's side of the 50-yard line with an opportunity to continue this drive and put points on the board. You really want to cap this drive off with a touchdown, try to tie this thing back up, get this crowd back involved in the game, which they've kind of still staying out at the concession stands or back at the tailgate like you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, because it was almost full, but now you can see a smattering of open seats as they are still trying to work their way back in to Cardinal Stadium, which seats just over 60,000. Louisville in the all-black uniforms, Notre Dame the gold helmets, gold pants, white jerseys. They're ready on defense. Louisville just about ready on offense. Juwan pass with a pistol look. He'll be standing back at the 45, waiting for the snap coming from the 40. 3rd down and 2 for the Cardinals. Pass wipes his hands off on the towel. They send Atwell in motion, but it's a handoff to Hall. He's got the 1st down and more inside the 30 and tackled inside the 25 at the 24-yard line by Alohi Gilman. That's a run of 16 yards.
Missed tackle right at the line of scrimmage by Notre Dame as well. Looked like there was 2 defenders that had an opportunity to get him down, but again, the speed hitting the line of scrimmage. Hall a little bit bigger than we're talking about with Hawkins. Hall is at almost 200 pounds, 198, and he gets going full speed. He's going to run through a couple of those arm tackles.
And he gained 20 pounds from a year ago, says most of it's muscle. He was 178, now as you said 198 for the kid from Atlanta, Georgia. He's behind pass fakes the handoff, rolls to the right, he's going to tuck it, run, he dropped the football, and Notre Dame picks it up. And then brought down after picking it up that time was Dalen Hayes, the defensive end. And Notre Dame will have it just inside the 25-yard line. That is the 3rd fumble of the game for Louisville quarterback Juwan Pass.
Just can't happen, Brandon. It really can't. You're going to just kill your chances of not only getting back into the game, but winning the game. We've talked about it so much, the deficiencies they had a year ago, and then how now it's really just jumping up and biting them. First in the second quarter, now here on a really important drive, getting deep in Notre Dame territory, they fumble it and lose it again.
Credit Ade Ogundeji with forcing the fumble, and as I said, Dalen Hayes picks it up. So Notre Dame starts this drive at their own 22. 11:34 left, third quarter. They've got a 21-14 lead. Tony Jones gets the hands off, runs up the middle across the 30. He's got the 1st down before he's tripped up at the 34-yard line.
Good start for the Irish, getting the ball in the hands of Jones early on. Again, had plenty of touches in the first quarter. Finally getting his hands back on the football. Somebody down injured here on the field.
Louisville Cardinals slow to get up right around the 32-yard line. Athletic training staff around him. After that run of 12 yards, takes the ball to the 34 for Notre Dame. And that is Kane Pass down on the field. Now he's being helped to his feet. Redshirt senior. He's a little wobbly. He has to put his arms around the athletic trainers, and boy, he can't put any weight on that left leg, it appears, Derek.
Yeah, he's trying to loosen it up as he's...
Maybe a cramp?
Potentially. He looks like he's favoring the left leg, trying to loosen it up, but he's definitely using the services of both athletic trainers with one arm over each shoulder.
So he's walking gingerly, trying to get off the field on the near sideline on the west side of the field. And Kane Pass, as I said, redshirt senior, 19th career start. One of the more experienced veterans on that Louisville defense. But he will head to the sideline. Play resumes. Tony Jones standing behind Ian Book. Jones is over 100 yards rushing in this game for the Fighting Irish. Right in motion. Book takes the handoff, turns around, hands it off to Jones. Jones right side run. He's got the 39-yard line, and he's dropped there as he fell on his back after a pickup of 5. Tackled by Russ Yeast, the safety.
Yeah, once again, successful first down run for Notre Dame in this rushing attack. Anytime you get 4 more yards, it's going to help you stay on schedule with the chains and make it easy for you on third down.
Let's see if they go back to Jones on 2nd and 5. No, Book wants to pass it. Moves to the right. Ian Book on the run. Fakes the pass, takes off, then steps out of bounds after a gain of a couple. Tried to tiptoe that right sideline in front of his teammates before being pushed out by Dana Kennard.
Seen it a few times. Book get locked in on one side of the formation, and that time he's looking over to 2 of his wide receivers, but there was 4 Louisville defenders in the vicinity. Really nowhere to throw the football, but a good decision by tucking it up and running.
3rd and about 1.5 yards. The ball at the 43, and Notre Dame needs to get to the 44. Shotgun snap, handoff, run right side for Tony Jones. He didn't get there. He maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, and then he's dropped. That'll bring up 4th down. C.J. Avery with a tackle, and it looks like Notre Dame is going to send on the punting unit.
Good initial pressure on the Louisville defensive front. Just 3 guys with their hand on the dirt, and there's this new 3-4 defense. And on that big 3rd down and short situation where Notre Dame was having success running the football, they get the stop to force the punt unit out.
Now Jay Bramlett back at the 29, waiting to receive the snap. Rajay Burns set to return it for Louisville. Bramlett in his first game, pretty good punts. This one a little shorter, coming up and taking it Rajay Burns just inside the 25-yard line for a fair catch. That punt just 33 yards with nothing on the return. 9:39 to go in the 3rd quarter. With our score, Notre Dame 21, Louisville 14. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Inside of 10 minutes left, 3rd quarter, Notre Dame up 21-14 over Louisville. It's time for the National Association of Realtors fact of the game. And that fact, if you look at Notre Dame's running backs, they have not lost a fumble in 40 games. Last 1-2 fumble in a Notre Dame uniform as a running back, C.J. Procyse, way back game 11 in 2015. Ironic because we've seen 4 fumbles from the quarterbacks tonight combined in this game. That's the fact of the game, sponsored by the National Association of Realtors. Realtors do more than buy and sell homes. They stand up for your right to own one, too. That's what Realtors do. 3 of those fumbles by Juwan Pass. He's back out there now for the Cardinals as they start this drive at their own 24-yard line. He's going to turn around, hand it off to Hawkins. Hawkins is met in the backfield and dropped by Khalid Kareem, the defensive end of Notre Dame.
Brandon, you mentioned Pass back out there, and I'm telling you, if I'm Scott Satterfield, the head coach for Louisville, I'm going to have a short leash with my quarterback, Juwan Pass, because he has turned the football over 3 times on his own. He's not been able to throw the football, 5 out of 14 in this game. He did have some effectiveness running it early on, but you cannot afford to have your quarterback continue to cough up the football.
And as we talked about earlier, they have a backup in Malik Cunningham who saw a lot of action last year, actually led the team in rushing. But right now it's Pass. 2nd down and 12 after a loss of 2. Rolling to the right, looking to throw. He throws an incomplete, well behind Tutu Atwell. Almost into the hands of the diving corner, Sean Crawford. So 3rd and 12 coming up.
And again, I mentioned earlier, just this really not the situation that this offense is built for on 3rd long. They have not been able to throw the football basically at all this evening. Now 5 of 15 throwing the football, and they essentially are going to have to if they want to try to pick up the first down here.
So a guy last year who threw for 54% in Juwan passes, you said at 33% right now, and just 1 of his last 10 throwing the football. He's probably going to need to throw it here on 3rd and 12. Back at his own 22. Atwell in motion right to left. 2 receivers either side. And we've got flags coming in before the snap. This is going to go against Louisville.
False start. Offense, number 59. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's the center, T.J. McCoy.
Former Florida Gator, transferred over to Louisville. And he gets a little bit antsy on the snap count, kind of leaning back, and finally flinches the football back.
So that makes it 3rd and 17 now for Louisville. Back inside their own 20 at the 17. 8:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Hawkins in the backfield to the left of the quarterback. Juwan pass. 2 receivers either side. Notre Dame rushes 4. Throw over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for Tutu Atwell, but draped all over him was Kyle Hamilton, the safety, the freshman that they are so high on. And now Louisville will be forced to punt.
Yeah, pretty good position, too, by Kyle Hamilton, the freshman. You mentioned, how about this for size? 6'4", 210 pounds for a defensive back, a free safety. So I think he's got some range and ability to cover ground. They are really excited about what he can bring to this defense. But, again, talked about, you get in these situations, 3rd and 17, it's going to be difficult for Louisville, not a very good passing team right now.
And now Mason King punting this from around his own 5-yard line, but he gets it away. Chris Fink calling for a fair catch across the 50, inside the 45, around the 43-yard line. And Louisville, after getting touchdowns on their first 2 possessions, nothing their last 8 possessions offensively. They trail at 21-14 to Notre Dame with 8:42 left in the 3rd quarter. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. College football fans, you can listen to live calls of your favorite team's games on your smartphone on the TuneIn app via Westwood One. No matter where you are on game day, hear all the action from some of the biggest games of the year. Listen to college football for free with Westwood One on TuneIn all season long. Download the app today. Brandon Gaudin and Derek Rackley with you from Cardinal Stadium in Louisville. 8:42 to go 3rd quarter. Notre Dame leading Louisville 21-14. And as you talked about, Louisville's offense has just gone stagnant.
They really have. And I'm curious to know if Scott Satterfield's thinking about a quarterback change the next time they come out on the field. Fortunately for the Louisville defense that's out on the field now going up against Ian Book and this Irish offense, they've been doing a fairly good job slowing them down. They've forced them to 2 of 7 on 3rd down, and they've only given up 63 passing yards.
Notre Dame starts this drive on their own 43 with the ball between the hashes. You mentioned Ian Book. He's in the shotgun, 7 of 12 passing, 63 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He has lost a fumble. Here he drops to throw. Pocket's clean. Over the middle, complete to Claypool. Claypool turns it upfield across the 40. Inside the 30 of Louisville, taking 5 tacklers, a couple of extra yards, all the way down to the 26. Boy, that was impressive. A gain of 31 for Chase Claypool.
Yeah, smart route by the senior receiver because he's running a shallow crossing route, and it looked like he used the official as a little bit of a rub with C.J. Avery, number 9, covering him, got him in a trail position. He's able to make the catch and get upfield.
First 20-yard pass play in the game for Notre Dame. Ian Book out of the gun again, fakes a handoff, throws over the middle, caught at the 5, reaching out and scoring. Tommy Tremble, the tight end. What an effort. Touchdown Notre Dame, 27-14. The Irish now lead it with 8:06 to go in the 3rd. A beautiful pass from Ian Book to Tommy Tremble, the first time that the sophomore Tremble has found the end zone in his Fighting Irish career.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brandon. I think it was the best throw of the night by Ian Book. Not only does he make a good fake in the backfield just to get the eyes of those linebackers from Louisville's defense to get occupied a little bit, but then he throws just a dime on a skinny post route to his tight end right up the middle of the field, gets the ball into his hands so he's able to secure the catch before the defense comes. He gets into the end zone for a touchdown.
Flags before the PAT. We're starting to hear some "Let's Go Irish" chants from the smattering of Notre Dame fans that are here at Cardinal Stadium. But right now they're trying to figure out the flag that just got thrown. What a quick drive. 2 plays, 57 yards, 36 seconds. The pass to Claypool and then the pass to Tremble.
Offside. Defense. That penalty is declined. We'll have a try.
So the decline penalty, and now Dorr to attempt the extra point. But the tight end, Tommy Tremble, they said drops were an issue for him in camp. They weren't an issue right there, and a nice stretch out to get into the end zone. Snap and hold are good. Right-footed kicker Dorr puts it up and through, and Notre Dame is doubling up Louisville 28-14. With that touchdown, Warner Ladder is making a donation to Coach to Cure MD, dedicated to helping college coaches defeat Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Warner, step up your game with Warner Ladder. 8:06 3rd quarter. Again, the score, 28-14. Notre Dame leading Louisville. There's a break in the action. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Subscribe to Rap Sheet and Friends, the podcast from NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. Each week, Ian is joined by special guests from around the league, as well as his friends Mike Garafolo and Tom Pelissero, who talk football, family, breaking news, and more. That's Rap Sheet and Friends, available now on Apple Podcasts, at WestwoodOneSports.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. Ian's guest this week, by the way, Rob Gronkowski, very interested. Brandon Gaudin, Derek Rackley with you from Louisville's Cardinal Stadium. 8:06 to go in the third, and Notre Dame now a 28-14 lead over the Cardinals as Notre Dame gets ready to kick it off. The kick will be going south to north, right to left on your radio dial. Jonathan Dorr marks off his steps. Last two Notre Dame scoring drives were under a minute to help them get this lead. The kick is going 5 yards deep, and it will tumble out of the end zone. So now, does Louisville have a response? Remember, they scored on those first couple of drives, Derek. Their last 8 drives, they have not gotten any points.
Yeah, it's been really bad since that first quarter, between the turnovers, the fact that they're just coming right out of the game, 3 and outs, not able to move the football, can't throw it. They've got to get a spark here offensively to get back into this game. Otherwise, it's going to get lopsided quick. Fortunately, there's a lot of time left.
You mentioned that first quarter versus the rest. 155 yards for Louisville in quarter one, 106 cents. This drive starting at the 25. Juwan pass out of the gun, takes a snap, fakes a handoff, looks to the right, pats the ball twice, throws, completes it across the 30, up the sideline, then being shoved out. And that will be a first down for Louisville as they go to Tobias Little. First time they've used that tight end here in this game.
It's actually pretty good patience by Juwan pass, because there was a shallow crossing route by Little, and one of the defensive linemen from Notre Dame came back out of the stack, meaning he was rushing, and then he came back and tried to drop right underneath the route, and he just waited until Little got to the opposite side to throw him the football.
Gain of 10, so first and 10. Now here's a handoff. Hassan Hall getting the carry. He slips through on the right side for a couple out to the 37. Tackled by Owusu Koromoa. 2nd and 8 for Louisville.
And going back to that completion to Little, they've got to find some more of those plays in their playbook. Something that's high percentage. They've, of course, got to get the protection up front from the offensive line to give Pass enough time to get rid of the football. But just if they can get the ball out of his hands, complete the ball 5 to 7 yards downfield, let somebody make somebody miss in space.
Right now, pass 6 of 17. Out of the gun, Atwell in motion. Low snap goes under him, but behind him, Hassan Hall, the tailback, jumps on it at the 28-yard line. A wild snap from T.J. McCoy. Well, that's a bad one. That backs him up, and now they're going to have 3rd and long.
They actually made a switch at the center position. That's Cole Bentley playing center now, number 66, and he actually fires one back that's a little bit low, and Juwan Pass just not quite ready to handle the football.
2nd and 19 on that 9-yard loss, all told, before Hall drops on it. So Bentley in at center, and it didn't work out on that play as Atwell goes in motion into the left slot. Pass takes a shotgun snap, looks to throw, fires right side, incomplete. Was intended for Devontae Pete, and he went down to try to grab it, could not haul it in. It split between his legs. And a few groans from this Louisville crowd as that brings up 3rd down and 19.
And I'll tell you, that wasn't a great throw by Juwan Pass, but one that I think you got to catch as a wide receiver. Devontae Pete would probably tell you that he needs to catch that. Sometimes you just got to be a better player. When your teammate makes a mistake, bail him out. Make the catch.
First time they targeted Pete tonight. Still haven't heard much from Des Fitzpatrick. And now we've got flags before the 3rd and 19 play.
Offense, number 7, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
I just said we haven't heard much from Des Fitzpatrick. Well, now I call his name on a penalty. That's not what you want from your wide receiver.
No, that's not how you want to get mentioned during this broadcast, especially the way that this offense has been going. And what are we back to now? 3rd and 24?
24. The ball all the way back at the 23-yard line. They need to get this out to the 37. 47. Pitch here to the right to Hassan Hall on the option, and he's going to be dragged out of bounds after a short gain. Going to get nowhere near the line of scrimmage. Kyle Hamilton, or the line to gain, I should say. Kyle Hamilton, the one to push him out. Give him a 4-yard gain, so now on 4th and 20. A surefire punt coming up for Louisville.
You know, an encouraging start as well with the completion to Tobias Little, but after that you get the fumbled snap, you get the penalty, you get the dropped pass, and just like that, you're sitting back at a 4th and 27 situation and got to punt the ball again.
Punter Mason King ready to boot it to Chris Fink. Notre Dame led 21-14 at half. Now it's 28-14 with 5:45 left in the third. There's a high booming punt going back into his left. Fink calls for the fair catch, and he takes it right around the 25-yard line for the Fighting Irish. 48 yards that time on the boot from the redshirt senior Mason King. Brandon Gaudin and Derek Rackley here in the Grainger broadcast booth at Cardinal Stadium. Huddle up with Grainger, America's trusted source for industrial supplies and safety products. Click Grainger.com for whatever you need, whenever you need it. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. And what was once an excitable Louisville crowd here at Cardinal Stadium, they have gotten pretty quiet. Now Notre Dame goes back on offense. Tony Jones, the tailback behind Ian Book. Pistol look. Going in motion, Tommy Trimble, the tight end who caught the touchdown pass earlier. Now off the play fake. Book rolling to the left. Pressure coming. And he's just going to have to heave it out of bounds to the Louisville sideline as he's pushed to his back at the 11-yard line by Dorian Etheridge.
There's a late flag down on the field here too, Brandon, right around the middle of the formation. This is not a flag for intentional grounding, though.
Dwayne Height making sure he's got all the information correct. Here he is.
There is no foul for an eligible receiver downfield. The ball was grounded legally out of bounds. Second down.
So there you go. The flag picked up. 2nd and 10.
Like the decision by Ian Book not throwing the football. He was trying to get a crossing route coming back towards the middle of the field, but there was 2 Louisville defenders kind of sandwiching his receiver. He would have likely thrown that into traffic, potentially picked off, but he just tries to get outside the pocket, get it back to the line of scrimmage to throw it away.
Those Louisville reserves on the sideline waving their arms, trying to get this crowd back into it. They make a little noise. 2nd and 10. Book in the shotgun again. He drops the pass. Louisville brings a blitz. Throw over the middle. That's caught across the 30 to the 35. First down, Tommy Trimble. So they found something with Trimble. He had the touchdown catch, and now that first down gain of 13.
I'll tell you what, he runs pretty well, too. He's 6'3", 235 pounds. Sophomore from Johns Creek, Georgia. You mentioned he scored the touchdown, this time coming across the field on a crossing route. Makes a really nice catch, gets upfield for the first down.
So the ball at the 38-yard line of Notre Dame for Notre Dame as we hit the 5-minute mark. Here's a handoff up the middle, and that will go to the 40. Short gain that time for Tony Jones. Give him 2 yards, 2nd and 8 for Notre Dame. Yeah, Tommy Trimble's a good-looking kid, and they're trying to get some production because their starting tight end, Cole Kmet, broke his collarbone at the start of training camp, so they're going to need Trimble and Brock Wright as the season goes. Shotgun snap coming to Ian Book. He drops the pass. Settles in the pocket. Now he takes off. He had nobody to throw to. Steps across the 40 and then goes out of bounds upright in front of his teammates on the far sideline at the 44. That'll be a 4-yard gain.
It's now the 12th carry in the game for Ian Book, and probably, I would say, 11 or 12 of those have just been scrambles, balls that he has tucked down, maybe 10. I think they did have an option or a zone read on a couple of those, but many times it's just him pulling the football down and running it because everything is covered up in the passing game.
3rd down and 4. This crowd wants to stop with Notre Dame up 14 with the football. Book in the gun. Drops with 4 receivers. Throws to the left. Incomplete in the direction of Chris Fink. But it was knocked free by Monty Montgomery. And so it will be a punt forthcoming for the Fighting Irish with 3:52 to go. Chandler Jones with a great play there defensively.
Yeah, and it was good eyes and good patience by Jones because they were playing zone and there was some receivers crossing in front of them. And you kind of have to just anticipate what's going to happen and make sure you keep your zone responsibility. He stays right there and gets his hands on the football.
Rajay Burns back deep for Louisville after they got the stop that they needed. Bramlett punts it away. High punt, good hang time, fair catch called for at the 16. Rajay Burns takes it. And that is where Louisville will start with 3:44 to go in the third. Hey guys, see how you can get an unlimited plan with one of the newest phones included for one low price. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1 to learn more. So I'll ask you like I asked you last time. So where does Louisville turn here? More of those short passes and runs, Derek?
I think they're going to have to, but I mean, the best thing that they've really got going has been Hawkins in the running game. 12 carries, 87 yards. He's going to have to try to slip out of some tackles.
He's behind pass, and they do a pop pass to Atwell, and Atwell's tackled in the backfield. Back at the 10, that's going to be a loss of 6. Owusu, Koromoa, and Drew White, they sniffed that out, and Atwell had nowhere to go.
Well, here's the problem. That's the fourth quote-unquote catch for Atwell. The problem is 3 of them have been that little pop pass right in front of him as he's going across the formation in motion. So they've already seen it 2 other times, and they were all over at that time. They're anticipating it now when he runs across the formation.
Second down and 16 from back at their own 10 for Louisville. Handoff here. Javian Hawkins running left side across the 15, and then he steps out of bounds at the 18-yard line. But that's a good gain of 8 to make third down manageable here.
No, absolutely. You get back on 2nd and long, and your goal as an offense is just try to get half of those yards back. So it's 2nd and 16. You want to try to get 8 of that back, which they do. Now they're going to have to come through with a conversion to keep this drive going and see if they can't get something going here offensively.
Juwan Pass, the redshirt junior, started last year after the Lamar Jackson era here in Louisville. Last year 2-10. Now Louisville trying to start this season off better. Down 14, 2:33 to go, third quarter. Pass drops, moves to the right, flush from the pocket, throws on the run, caught by Atwell. With a full head of steam, he's got the first down across the 30, and then he's dropped at the 32. So Atwell with the reception, a 14-yard gain, and Louisville keeps the possession alive.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that they have got to find ways to get him the football. They've been doing it behind the line of scrimmage on those little pop forward passes, but getting it to him out in space, out in the flat on a crossing route, and letting him use his quickness.
Tight formation here. Now a handoff and a fumble. Hawkins dropped it. Fumbled it forward. Let's see who picked it up. It looks like Louisville got it. Yes, they do. They were able to recover it right around the 34. Hawkins got it back. All of a sudden, Butterfinger's in that backfield for Louisville in this game.
Yeah, and it looked like it was a pretty good exchange, meaning handoff from Juwan Pass. It just never looked like it was secured. Well, I tell you what, if you're Scott Satterfield, the football's been out on the turf way too often tonight.
He had the 3 fumbles lost by Juwan Pass. Almost one there by Hawkins, but he got it back. Second down and 8. Here's another handoff for Hawkins, this time running off the right side of the line. He'll get across the 35 to the 37. And that's going to bring up third down at about 4. They call it 3rd and 5 officially as they'll spot it at the 37.
Tell you what, I'm looking in the direction of Atwell again. He's lined up in the left slot.
Let's see if they go there. Pass clapped his hands together as if he wanted the football, but didn't get it. Now he goes up to the line of scrimmage and looks over at the sideline. He's got the call. Puts the mouthpiece back in. 38 seconds and ticking, third quarter. Pass takes it. Here comes the blitz. Throws left side. It is caught. First down, and then a little more. Marshawn Ford across the 50, down the sideline, inside the 40, inside the 30, and he's dropped right around the 26 by Jalen Elliott. Well, that worked out okay. A short throw from Juwan Pass to Marshawn Ford, the redshirt freshman, and they flipped the field. Well, the gain of 37.
Good play design and execution, lining up Marshawn Ford in a tight end position, but just off the line of scrimmage, and he immediately runs out to the left flat, and he outflanks the inside linebacker, and a good throw by Juwan Pass.
And they will let the clock wind down to the end of the third quarter. So no points for Louisville in that quarter. Notre Dame got 7, but a little momentum for the Cardinals as we hit the end of quarter number 3 with a score. Notre Dame 28, Louisville 14. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Welcome back to Cardinal Stadium in Louisville. Along with Derek Rackley, I'm Brandon Gardner. Our score with 15 minutes left to play in regulation is 28-14, Notre Dame leading Louisville. The start of the fourth quarter, sponsored by Geico. Great news. Here's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes you could save 15% or more on car insurance. And after that big play to end the third quarter, now there's some momentum for Louisville, Derek, on Notre Dame's 26.
Yeah, finally, the first time it seems like since back in that first quarter that this crowd has gotten back into the game. So they've got a drive going here. They've been able to cross over into the opponent's territory, and they're looking at an opportunity to score. They've got to punch the ball into the end zone to get back into this game. Again, there's still plenty of time left, 15 minutes, but it's going to run out on them if they continue to come off the field without scoring.
Speaking of that raucous crowd, it is a Cardinal Stadium record tonight with 58,187 in attendance. She holds 60,800. And they have been lively all night. Seventh play of the drive coming up for Louisville to start the fourth quarter. As I said, it's at the 26-yard line of Notre Dame on the left hash.
Got to lock the football down. They've fumbled 3 times. As far as losing them, they fumbled 5 times, and they were able to recover 2 others.
Juwan pass, the quarterback, with Javian Hawkins behind him. Receiver out to the right is Des Fitzpatrick, who, as I mentioned, quiet tonight without a catch. Snap comes, option to the left, and here's a reverse. Atwell running the other way, and he's going to throw it. Throws it downfield for Ford, and it's incomplete through his hands. Coming up to hit him as he tried to catch it was Sean Crawford. So incomplete on the attempt at a little trickery.
But I tell you what, I love the idea. Coming out of the quarter break, you have a little extra time to talk. Make sure you get everybody on the same page. Once Atwell gets the football in his hands, coaching staff can tell him, okay, if it's not there, make sure you throw the ball away, out of bounds. They had an opportunity. They had a chance to get the ball in the hands of Ford. It was just overthrown a little bit. And Brandon, sometimes that is going to happen when you have a wide receiver throwing the football.
And now flags before the 2nd and 10 play.
Illegal substitution, offense, 12 players lining up a formation, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, I'm going to bring in an old cliche. When you're coming off a 2-10 season, you can't have the fumbles and you can't have those penalties.
Yeah, exactly. When you're driving as well. I mean, in pretty good position, it's the 1st and 10 incomplete pass is okay, but then backing yourself up here, the 2nd and 15 starts to make things a little bit more difficult.
So the ball back to the 31-yard line. 2nd and 15 with 14:53 to go in the fourth quarter. Notre Dame up 28-14. It was 14-14 after 1 quarter of play. Louisville still has not scored since. Snap comes, handoff to Hawkins. Hawkins running left side. He's hit at the 30 and dropped just across the 30 at the 29. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 13.
Actually, pretty good work for him just to pick up a yard or 2. Good pressure by the defensive front from Notre Dame getting into the backfield. But Hawkins can be slippery back there. We've seen it a couple of times tonight.
He's at 102 yards, 16 carries, Javian Hawkins. He's still out there in the backfield. Juwan pass out of the gun. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Now everybody on the Louisville side looks over to their sideline. Juwan pass has what he wants. Claps the hands together, gets the football, hands it off to Hawkins up the middle. Slips through a couple of tackles, but only gets to the 25. So that's going to bring up 4th and 9, down by 14, and on comes the field goal unit.
It was initially Drew White, the linebacker, gets in the backfield just to kind of spook Hawkins a little bit, maybe push him back to the backside by 1 hold. And then Julian Okwara comes by to get the tackle.
Interestingly, this is the first field goal attempt that we've had tonight, and it comes with 13:38 to go in the fourth quarter. Blanton creaking from 43 yards out just inside the left hash. Snap and hold are good. Kick is on the way from Creaky, and he got it. So that cuts the Notre Dame lead to 28-17 with 13:25 remaining in the fourth quarter. That's our score. We've got a break. This is Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football. Okay, it's time for Derek Rackley to answer our weekly Ask the Pros question, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. The question was from Chris in Evansville, Indiana. What is your opinion about the sudden influx of transfers, both graduate and undergraduate, to Power 5 schools.
Well, by and large, I'm a fan of it. And I'll start with the graduate transfers because I feel like if a kid takes care of his business from an academic standpoint, he should have options, especially once he gets to that final year. Maybe he's not in a position to contribute the way that he would want to, i.e. Jalen Hurts, probably not going to play over Tua Tagovailoa. So he goes to Oklahoma. We know we have a long season left, but he got off to a great start against Houston. You think about a guy like Justin Fields. That's not a graduate situation, but he's leaving a situation in Georgia where they had Jake Fromm. They felt comfortable with him, and it looks like he's in a pretty good spot at Ohio State. You think of a guy like Kyler Murray starting at Texas A&M. What does he do? He waits his turn at Oklahoma. He ends up winning a Heisman Trophy, gets drafted first overall. I will tell you the one thing I don't care about too much is the guys that come in as a freshman, think that they're going to end up getting a starting job, they get beat out, and then they just transfer right away. It doesn't seem like the kids want to dig their heels in and compete much anymore. That part I don't like about it, but if you take care of your business from an academic standpoint, I think you should have options. That's Derek Rackley. Don't forget, you can submit your questions for our pros by tweeting us at Westwood One Sports using the hashtag AskThePros or by visiting westwoodonesports.com/AskThePros, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. So Louisville gets the field goal to cut their deficit to 28-17, 13:25 to go as Notre Dame gets set to return this kick. Kick coming from Blanton Creaky. Kicks it away right to left, back deep, Kyron Williams, and he'll let this sail over his head and out of the back of the end zone. So now Notre Dame, and obviously, Derek, every drive is getting bigger, but if they could take some time off here and put points up, it's really going to be tough for Louisville. Brandon, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, this is an opportunity right now for Ian Book, Tony Jones, Jafar Armstrong, the rest of this offense to really put their stamp on the game because they can put a drive together, take a lot of time off of this clock, and if they can punch it into the end zone, it's going to be really difficult for Louisville to get back in the game because they just haven't been able to score touchdowns outside of the first quarter. All the 14 points on the touchdowns in the first quarter, then just that field goal a moment ago. Tony Jones in the backfield to the right of Ian Book, the quarterback. Snap coming from the left hash. Book drops, looking to throw. Louisville rushes for. He steps up, takes off. Gets a couple of yards across the 30, and he's going to go down right around the 31 or 32. Call it a gain of 6. Tackled by the corner, Cornelius Sturgill. Book has had a little bit more success lately throwing the football, but that's going to be his 13th carry. And when this thing's all said and done, he might be approaching 100 yards rushing himself. Right now he's at 77 yards and a touchdown. Out of the shotgun here. Second down and 4, drops the pass, pocket clean, but he's got nowhere to go with it. So he tosses it off his back foot out of bounds just to get rid of it. And now it's 3rd and 4 for Notre Dame. And here goes Louisville sideline telling their fans, get up, and they oblige. This has been a weakness for Notre Dame tonight. 2 of 8 on 3rd down. Three receivers right. Book awaits the shotgun snap. He's got it. Drops straight, pats the ball twice, throws over the middle, caught. First down for Notre Dame, and what a big one it is. And look who they went back to, Derek. Tommy Tremble. Another catch for him out to the 41-yard line. Yeah, he's been a weapon for them here in the second half, and kind of a little surprising to me that Louisville just goes kind of traditional sitting back in zone on that situation. I would have brought some pressure. 10-yard gain, 1st and 10. Notre Dame still on their own side of the field. Here's a handoff. Tony Jones trying to find some room running right, and he's got a yard, maybe 2, before he's tackled by Rajay Burns. You know, going back to that 3rd down situation, I just feel like from a defensive standpoint, you got to force the hand of Ian Book. Like, make him make a decision quickly. Trust that your guys are going to be in the right position in man-to-man coverage instead of dropping 8 back and allowing him to find a zone. It's a handoff here again. Jones running left side this time, looking for space around the end. Not much there. He does get it out to the 44-45 for a gain of a couple, but we're going to have either 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6 coming up. Let's see if Brian Brown, defensive coordinator for Louisville, makes any adjustments this time around to try to get off the field. Will he bring pressure, or does he drop 8 back in coverage? Let's see what they do. It's 3rd and about 6.5 here from where that spot is.
for Notre Dame, still on their own side of the field. 11:22 to go in the game. Notre Dame up 28-17. Dropping to pass Book. They rush 5. Throw is complete. First down across midfield. Lawrence Keys, the sophomore, with a grab. And once again, Notre Dame converts on third down.
They really ended up rushing 4, but they had a spy. Somebody just keeping their eye on Ian Book in case he were to decide to scramble outside of the pocket. So really didn't bring enough pressure, but Book showing that patience, that calm demeanor, finding Keys for the first down.
And keeps this drive alive on the 10-yard gain out the 46 of Louisville. Book drops to pass again. Backpedaling, throwing off his back foot out of bounds as he just has to get rid of it. Ooh, and he hit a Louisville cheerleader over there. Caught her off guard. She's in some pain walking around over on the far sideline. At any rate, second down and 10.
Wondering if Book didn't even see his check down, because number 34, Jameer Smith, was kind of right in his vision too, about 6 yards downfield, and he could have just dropped it down to him. He's probably going to pick up 6 or 7 because there wasn't anybody really close to him.
10:44 to go. Jameer Smith in the backfield to the left of Ian Book. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. The ball is on the Louisville Cardinal logo at midfield. Book, short drop, throws to the left. He does get it out to Smith this time. Smith tried to stay on his feet, but he couldn't. He lost his footing at the 40-yard line. Call it a gain of 6.
I like to play those quick little flares out of the backfield where your running back is kind of running parallel to the line of scrimmage, but it puts a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of the quarterback, that he's got to deliver a really good pass on the upfield shoulder of the running back in order for them to make the catch and get upfield.
Third down and 4 for the Irish. They lead at 28-17. Here in Louisville, opener of the season for both of these teams on Labor Day. Ian Book yelling out some orders to the offensive line. He backs up, wipes his hands off on his pants, takes the snap. 3 receivers right, looks that way. Now he runs to the left, angling for the marker, diving forward. He got it. First down, Ian Book improvising. And as you said, he's been good running the football, Derek. He's now over 80 yards tonight.
I'm telling you, his speed from the quarterback position, I'm not sure if I would say he's like a top-end speed guy where he's going to leave everybody in the dust, but he's got enough quickness when he decides to get outside the pocket, especially on those third and short situations where he can outflank the defense, pick up the first down, and get out of bounds.
And he got out of bounds at the 35-yard line. 14 carries, 81 yards for the senior quarterback from El Dorado Hills, California. 2 receivers to either side. Fakes the handoff. Wants to throw it. Throws left side. It's caught just outside of the 20. Now inside of the 20. Inside of the 15. Across the field goes Chase Claypool. Down inside the 10. He reaches out for the pylon. He's going to be short of there. But it's going to be first and goal inside the 5 as Chase Claypool caught it on the left side of the field, went all the way across and angled for the right pylon, but came up a little short, a gain of 33.
Love his effort, but you're right. He catches his ball maybe 3 yards off the left sidelines and runs all the way to the right side. Football field's 53 yards across, so he probably ran 50 yards laterally to pick up an extra 8 or 10, but nonetheless, he gets his offense inside the 5-yard line.
Down at the 2 to be precise, first and goal. Jameer Smith is the back behind Book, who this time is under center. Takes the snap, hands it to Smith. Smith angles left side, fighting for the end zone, but he's not going to get there. He was able to hurdle over one would-be tackler, but he stopped short at around the 1. So second and goal coming up, 8:35 and rolling, fourth quarter.
I think this is an opportunity here where you trust in your quarterback. We'll be surprised if there's a little fake to his running back and Book keeps it out on the perimeter.
Let's see what they do. Jameer Smith is still the tailback. Book still under center. He hands it to Smith up the middle, and he dives and he's in. Touchdown Notre Dame. Second of the game for Jameer Smith. A nice 11-play drive for the Irish to go up 34-17 with 8:15 remaining in the fourth quarter.
And we talked about it before the drive, Brandon. Really important. If they could put something together, march their way down the field, and cap it off with a touchdown, it's going to put Louisville in a really, really tough situation. They just continue to pick up first downs, got a couple of big plays, most notably from Claypool to get down inside the 5-yard line, and they get the touchdown on the board.
And now here comes the extra point from Dorr. Kick is up. And it splits the uprights. Took 5:10 off the clock on that drive. And the score is now Notre Dame 35, Louisville 17 with 8:15 remaining. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Draw up a winning play with Grainger. Click Grainger.com for industrial supplies and safety products to help your business cross the goal line. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. And Notre Dame just crossed the goal line to go up 35-17 with 8:15 to go. And as we said, maybe that's a little too much for Louisville to overcome.
Yeah, we've seen Ian Book kind of turn things around a little bit. Now 193 passing yards, and as a team, the Irish have 227 rushing yards. But maybe the most important, Notre Dame 4 for 4 in the red zone with 4 touchdowns.
And that has been one of the storylines, no doubt. And remember, the first quarter, a lot of offense, back and forth, two teams feeling each other out. It was 14-14 after that first quarter, and now kind of settled in, especially that Notre Dame defense. And a big lead at 35-17 as Notre Dame kicks it away left to right. Gore approaches and kicks it away. Going toward the goal line, Hall trying to return it across the 10, across the 15, across the 20, and then he's knocked down shy of the 25-yard line. Getting up and celebrating that tackle was Bo Bauer of the Fighting Irish. Join us again next Saturday when Westwood One brings you another great college football matchup. Number 7 LSU versus number 10 Texas. Ryan Ratke and Derek Rackley will have all the action for you beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. For more details or to listen to the live stream for free, visit westwoodonesports.com. If it's NCAA football, it's on Westwood One. Rackley and Ratke, that'd be a great law firm, by the way, if that gym never works out for you. I like where that's going.
Here's the problem. I don't want to go back to school.
I don't blame you. Louisville starting this drive at their own 23, 8:10 to go. Javian Hawkins is the running back, past the quarterback. He looks to throw, pocket collapsing, and it's going to collapse on top of his head as he's taken down inside the 20. Notre Dame getting to him and dropping him for the sack. Kurt Heinisch, and also you had Myron Tungavailoa Mosa in there as well, combining.
Yeah, when you get those quick drops, when it's a shotgun snap and your quarterback just catches it and turns, that's the equivalent of like a 5-step and throw, meaning you just can't hold on to the football.
Lost 4 yards, 2nd and 14. Here he drops again. Pocket starts to collapse, so he escapes it, runs to the right. He's got a lot of room. Across the 30, first down across the 35, and then stepping out around the 40 is Juwan Pass. But once he got around the right edge, there was nobody home for that Notre Dame defense. 22 yards on the play.
Yeah, that right side really vacated, and that was kind of what we saw early on in this game, back in the first quarter. His ability to get outside the pocket and run with it. 11 carries for 51 yards leading up to that one. He's able to pick up 12 and a first down.
That clock is ticking at 7:15. And now here are whistles and flags before the next snap. False start on Louisville.
False start. Offense. Number 60. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's the right tackle that we praised several times tonight, Tyler Haycraft.
Yep, just a quick little flinch too early. On the short side of the field with the official right there, it's hard for them to miss that call.
Quite a few empty seats now as Notre Dame has extended the lead to 35-17. It's also 11:08 here local on a school night in Louisville, Kentucky. Javian Hawkins in the backfield behind Juwan Pass, the quarterback. First down at 15 after the false start. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Pass fakes the handoff, rolls to the right, throws incomplete. Threw it in the direction of Isaac Martin, who rarely sees receiving action out of the backfield. And it was a low throw, and he couldn't hang on to it.
A couple times we've seen that where Juwan Pass throws those short, like 5-yard out routes, and they're just a little bit too low, especially when you're throwing it to more of a tight end style body. I say this all the time, just not as flexible as wide receivers. They got bigger pads on, so making adjustments to balls that are low or to their backside are difficult.
Second down at 15. Pass fakes the handoff, throws to the right. It's caught right around the 45 by Des Fitzpatrick, and then he's pushed out of bounds at the 46. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 5.
At least gets him back to something manageable after the incomplete pass. Good throw by Juwan there next to the Notre Dame sidelines. Mentioned Fitzpatrick. He's a guy they need to step up a little bit more. He needs to help bail out his quarterback in this offense and make some spectacular catches.
He's one of the experienced receivers, redshirt junior. And now movement again. Movement up front on the line. Let's see. Louisville signaling that this is against Notre Dame and hoping so.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty is a first down.
So Ade Ogundeji, and now that's a big one. It gives him the first down, keeps the drive alive, puts it at Notre Dame's 49-yard line.
It's the second time we've seen, too, the heady play by Mekhi Becton, the left tackle, because he moves the moment Ogundeji gets into the neutral zone, because Ogundeji can get back.
Now looking to throw, Juwan pass. Steps up, nowhere to go, so he's going to take off and run it. Gets across the 45 to the 44-yard line, tackled by Drew White, a pickup of 5. Clock at 6 minutes and rolling.
I'll say this, there's been some pretty good pressure from the Notre Dame defense, but I think that Juwan pass is just, he's looking at his first in progression, and then he's deciding to tuck it down and try to find a lane to run it. I think he needs to be more patient back in the pocket. Trust your offensive line and try to get through your progression. You might end up having to get to your second and third before you find the receiver with the right matchup.
79 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. There's a quarterback here. He turns around, hands it to Hassan Hall. Full head of steam right side. He's got the first down inside the 40 to the 37 before he's tackled by Alohi Gilman. So Louisville moving it, but the clock is moving too as it's approaching 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Notre Dame up 35-17. The Irish coming in off that college football playoff appearance, ranked number 9 in the nation. Rolling to the right, pass, trying to avoid the tackle, but he cannot. He goes down. Dalen Hayes wrapped him up. Faked the handoff, moved to the right. Hayes came right at him, and he could not make the speedy defensive end miss as he's brought down all the way back near the 45. That's a loss of 8.
Great job sticking with the play by Hayes, because as he comes around the corner, he gets his right hand on the quarterback pass, and it was like a lot of times you'll see a bigger quarterback like Juwan pass break free from that arm, but Dalen Hayes gets his other hand involved, and he's able to get him down to the turf.
They called it 7 officially, so 2nd and 17. Now throwing over the middle as the blitz was coming in. Complete low throw. Tutu Atwell was open. Pocket was collapsing, and that'll bring up 3rd and 17.
Again, those are plays that Scott Satterfield and his staff are going to go back on tape, and they're going to watch, and they're going to say, this is where we need to grow as an offense. When we get backed up to a 2nd and 17 and we have a crossing route coming open, we've got to find a way to stick that on our receiver, turn upfield. That's what you see in the elite offenses in college football, is they come back and make that play.
3rd down and 17, pass. He's going to take off and run it on a draw across the 40, and he's trying to get past the 35. He does to the 34, but he needed to get to the 27, so 4th down, and they'll go for it.
Yeah. The situation now where you're down 18 points, and I mean, the clock is working against you as far as getting back into the game, but now this is where you're just trying to compete as an offense, pick up a first down, see if you can score.
4th down and 7, approaching 4 minutes. If they don't get this and wait before the snap, we've got flags and a false start. That's not going to help them. It's going to say if they don't get this, the ball game looks like it's really over.
False start. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That's on the left guard, Caleb Chandler.
The 7th penalty a game, and it's one of those situations, Brandon, where, early in the game we were talking about, it's a fairly clean game. They're doing a pretty good job, not too many penalties, but the problem is, once it starts creeping up on you and those happen, it doesn't matter. As a coach, you don't say, you know what, guys, we were good for a quarter and a half, but then at the end of the game, we ended up with 8 penalties.
And now 4th and 12, and a very tough conversion coming up. Pass drops. Pocket collapsing again. Oh, they're chasing him in the backfield. He just chucks it out to the left side, incomplete. Julian Aquara threw him on the ground as he tried to throw it. And it's a turnover on downs, and now with 3:37 to go, Notre Dame has this all but in the bag.
Intentional grounding, offense, number 4. Ball lost it down. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Turnover on downs. First down, Notre Dame.
So the intentional grounding is not going to help. Well, it's never okay to drive stone. You put yourself and others in danger. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. 3:37 left in the fourth. Notre Dame 35, Louisville 17. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Welcome back to Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. Along with Derek Rackley, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You're listening to the 5-Hour Energy College Football Game of the Week on Westwood One. For energy on the go, it's got to be 5-Hour Energy. Works fast, works long, tastes good, and with 0 sugar and 4 calories, there's nothing holding you back. 35-17, Notre Dame leading it as they take over here with 3:37 to go. Handoff left side, Sibo Flemister, his first carry of the game. He gets it inside the 40, and he's dragged out of bounds around the 39-yard line, a gain of 7.
The goal here for Notre Dame is just make sure you possess the football, no turnovers, stay in bounds, keep everybody healthy, keep the clock rolling.
And the clock is rolling while we got a second. Our crew's been great. Jeff Nelson on stats, Kevin Messenger, our spotter, Albert Dale, our engineer. Really the only weak link is Howard Dinneroff, our producer. But he can make up for it post-game with a good dessert tray. We'll see if he comes through, folks.
Be careful with your paycheck next month.
3 minutes to go. And that clock rolling out of the shotgun, Ian Book. He's going to hand it off to Flemister. Flemister running left side, and he'll get it down to the 39. So that's going to bring up 3rd down at about 2. Do you think Howie knows that I was joking, Derek?
I hope so.
He kind of hires us, so
Watch, you might not be doing any more games for Westwood One.
We need him to know that I'm joking. Oh, no.
Do you want me to keep laughing?
Please help me out.
Hammer that point down.
35-17, the 9th-ranked team in the land, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They had a test in that first half, but they're starting to pull away and put this thing on ice as the 58,000 have all but filed out here. Not many left, a lot of open seats. 3rd down handoff again. It's Flemister trying to fight away from tacklers in the backfield. He cannot. Gets it to the 39. It's going to be a loss of a couple and bring up 4th down. Good tackle by Robert Hicks. 4th down and 5, and Notre Dame will let that clock go down as far as they can. Right now, play clock at 25 seconds.
Yeah, they might just go ahead and let this take the penalty, take the delay of game penalty, and then punt it from 5 yards further back.
Tell you what, though, Louisville in that first half, I think if you're a Louisville fan, you got to be encouraged by what you've seen.
Yeah, they got off to a really good start, and I think, if you're a fan, you're going to say, man, there was some promise there in the first quarter, but then it came back to the same Louisville that we saw last year. The turnovers all over the place and the lack of offensive production. So, I think from a coaching staff and players, they see some things on tape that they can work from, but they got a long ways to go. And I think we all knew that coming into this one.
Notre Dame does take the timeout before the penalty. 1:16 left. Irish up 35-17. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One. Thursday night, the NFL's 100th season kicks off with the league's oldest rivalry when the Chicago Bears host the Green Bay Packers. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, and Hub Arkish at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for all the action. Jim Gray, Tom Brady, and Larry Fitzgerald have the pregame show. Don't miss it. Log on to WestwoodOneSports.com for more details. If it's Monday Night Football, it's on Westwood One. 1:16 to go in the fourth quarter, and Notre Dame with a 35-17 lead over Louisville. Brandon Gaudin, Derek Rackley with you. And so I talked about the Louisville side of things before the break.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, maybe not the first half of the first quarter that their fans were envisioning, but they rounded into form.
Yeah, and I think that they're realizing defensively, too, that they're still a work in progress. They got a couple good defensive ends, but the losses that they've had, I don't think they've found anybody right now that's just going to jump right into those shoes and kind of pick up that production where they left off, which is somewhat understandable. You lose guys in the first round, the fourth round. It's going to take a little while until you figure out who are your next studs, who are the next guys in line. But I think offensively they realize that if Book isn't throwing the football, he's a pretty good option running it as well. And they've got 3 guys that they feel really comfortable putting the ball in their hands in the ground game to be productive for them.
Out of the timeout, Notre Dame will punt it 4th and 5. Bramlett, their punter, is back on his own side of the field around the 45-yard line. And Tutu Atwell is back deep for the Cardinals.
I failed to mention earlier, Tutu Atwell played college ball with his dad. you really figure out that you're getting older when one of your college teammates has a son that's playing in college now.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah,
but you don't look old. Snap is clean. The punt is on the way. Backing up, Atwell's going to take the fair catch just inside the 10-yard line. But that sophomore Atwell, I mean, that's certainly a bright spot for Scott Satterfield. He's talented.
And oddly enough, Brandon, he plays just like his dad, who is the exact same body frame, smaller, light, quick, played in the slot, one of those guys where you just got to get the football in his hands, and he's going to make somebody miss. You can put him in motion across the formation. Scott Satterfield's doing the exact same thing with this Tutu Atwell that we did with his father. Call it, I was in college from 95 to 99, so it was almost 20 years ago.
So Louisville takes over here inside the 10, down at 35-17.
Gosh, that was over 20 years ago.
Juwan Pass in the shotgun. Louisville shifting players around in the backfield here, but it's all window dressing at this point. Continue to be more and more empty seats in the stadium. Pass takes it, throws to the right. It's caught at the 20-yard line. It's going to be a first down on a gain of 11. A reception by Johnson. First down, Louisville. We are now inside of a minute. Josh Johnson was the fourth reception of his career on that last play as some of the subs get in. Now Pass is going to throw this out to the right and well over the head of Seth Dawkins, the intended target. Be a VIP with the NCAA experience at the 2020 Men's Basketball Championship. Score premium March Madness tickets and exclusive hospitality access, all from one source. Visit NCAA.com/VIP. It's the ultimate experience for the ultimate fan. That's NCAA.com/VIP. Second down and 10. Pass in the pocket. Tries to throw, and it's popped in the air, came right back down to him. And now he tries to run it, and he's going to get just across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Juwan Pass with a pass to himself. That's a first tonight.
Timeout, Louisville. Their second timeout of the half.
And then a timeout taken by Louisville with 35 seconds to go.
Okay.
What?
I'm just thinking the clock's running. just go ahead and
let it go.
Down 18 points.
Yeah.
Like, what's the timeout with 35 seconds left to do for us?
We'll see. Maybe Scott Satterfield has something crazy drawn up.
Look, I'm all about never quit, never give up and everything, but at some point you just got to realize it's time to focus on next week.
Well, Scott Satterfield, after those 6 years at App State, coming over. Bobby Petrino fired with 2 weeks left in last season's tenure, and it obviously went wrong, 2-10. And although they're going to lose here, we talked about some encouraging signs for Louisville. Here's a handoff to Javian Hawkins. He's going to run off the right side and get out to the 23. And we'll see if that's not the last play of the game. 25 seconds to go, clock running. Looks like they might run one more here. Pass in the shotgun. One more handoff. Hawkins up the middle across the 30 to the 32, so they'll get one more first down. And that will do it. 2-1-0. After one quarter, it was 14-all. We had a tight battle, but Notre Dame rights the ship, and eventually they pull away from Louisville. And the 9th-ranked team in the land, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, get a 35-17 victory to go to 1-0 on the young season.
That second quarter got awfully interesting when we had that string of 3 straight turnovers. Fortunately for the winning team, Notre Dame, only 1 turnover on their behalf. It was 2 for Louisville, and they added another one later on in the game. And I think that along with the fact that they're not there offensively, I think they've got a long ways to go, to be honest, offensively, because they just don't look comfortable throwing the football. I feel like they've got a weapon in Tutu Atwell out of the slot. They've got to find some other ways to get the ball into the hands of guys like Des Fitzpatrick. But outside of that, Brandon, you and I talked about this. It was going to be a large work in progress, and that's still the case for Scott Satterfield.
The final score, Notre Dame 35, Scott Satterfield's Louisville Cardinals 17. When we return, Lance Meadow rejoins us from our Progressive Insurance Studios. Drivers who switch and save pay an average of nearly $700 less per year. You're listening to NCAA football on Westwood One.
Notre Dame off to a 1-0 start on the 2019 campaign as the Fighting Irish top Louisville 35-17 at Cardinal Stadium. This game was tied at 14 after one quarter, and then Notre Dame outscored Louisville 21-3 the rest of the way. Welcome back to Westwood One's coverage of college football from the Progressive Insurance Studios. I'm Lance Meadow. Quote, buy and save on home insurance with Progressive's new Home Quote Explorer, only at Progressive.com. So let's take you through the highlights from tonight's contest and find out how we got to that final score. Notre Dame received the opening kickoff and then literally and figuratively ran it down the throats of the Louisville defense. Three different players, including quarterback Ian Book, gained 56 total yards on the ground, ultimately putting the Fighting Irish inside the Cardinals' 10-yard line.
Book in the shotgun. Two receivers right, one to the left. He's going to hand it off up the middle, down to the goal line, and in goes Jameer Smith. First carry of the game for the redshirt freshman, and he's got his first career touchdown. And just like that, 2 minutes and 21 seconds into the action, Notre Dame takes it 75 yards, and they run it in on a 4-yard carry for Jameer Smith to take a 6-0 lead.
That's how you kick off the season. Notre Dame tacked on the extra point, padded its lead 7-0. Later in the first, the game was now tied at 7, and the Cardinals went back to work with 6:22 to go in the quarter. Thanks to a 44-yard run play, Louisville eventually entered the red zone, where it looked to make an early statement at the expense of the Irish defense.
Quarterback Juwan pass out of the gun with Javian Hawkins again behind him. Atwell goes in motion. They hand it off. No, pass keeps it. He runs up the middle, and he's got nothing but green grass. Inside the 5 and into the end zone for a Louisville touchdown. He faked the give, ran up the middle. Nobody was home for Notre Dame, and Louisville has their first lead. It's 13-7 with 4:08 left in the first quarter.
That capped a 6-play, 75-yard drive at 2:14. Louisville added the extra point, moved in front 14-7. Skip ahead to the second. Game was now tied at 14, and both offenses drastically cooled off. After both teams combined for 5 punts and a turnover on downs, ball security became a major issue. Louisville quarterback Juwan Pass lost a fumble. Then on the very next play, Notre Dame signal caller Ian Book coughed up the ball. So the Cardinals look to end the game of hot potato with a fresh set of downs deep in their own territory.
Low snap, and Juwan Pass, he lost it. He never had control of it. Now Notre Dame says they have it, and they do. Are you kidding me? Back-to-back fumbles within 10 seconds of each other after we did not have a turnover coming into that point. And with 1:03 left, Notre Dame gets the football back. Unbelievable.
What a sequence of events indeed, and thanks to those developments, Notre Dame now had great field position at the Louisville 20 with just over a minute to go in the first half. The Irish once again relied on the ground game to inch closer to the goal line. So on a 3rd and goal, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
3rd down and goal. Book in the shotgun. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Ball being snapped between the hashes. Book drops, looks to the right, fakes the throw. Now he takes off inside the 10, inside the 5. He dives. Touchdown, Notre Dame. What a play. Book faked the pass, but he wanted to run it the entire time, and he did. 11 yards into the end zone, and Notre Dame has regained the lead.
4 plays, 20 yards in 46 seconds. Notre Dame tacked on the extra point, took a 21-14 lead into the locker room. Both teams combined for just 110 passing yards in the first half. Move ahead to the fourth. It was now 28-17 Notre Dame. The Irish took over at its own 25 with 13:25 to go and went to work. Ian Book converted 3 third downs thanks to 2 completions and a 4-yard run. That put Notre Dame in Louisville territory. And after a 34-yard pass, the Irish was once again knocking on the door inside the 5.
Jameer Smith is still the tailback. Book still under center. He hands it to Smith up the middle, and he dives and he's in. Touchdown Notre Dame, 2nd of the game for Jameer Smith. A nice 11-play drive for the Irish to go up 34-17 with 8:15 remaining in the fourth quarter.
It took over 5 minutes off the clock. Notre Dame added the extra point, and the Irish built a comfortable 35-17 lead and would go on to win by that very score. Louisville dropped to 0-5 against ranked opponents in its season openers. The Cardinals lost 3 fumbles, collected 8 penalties for 50 yards. Now let's send it back to Cardinal Stadium to the 2 guys who called tonight's game, Brandon Gaunan and Derek Rackley. Guys?
Okay, Lance, thank you. Second all-time meeting between these two programs, as you said, goes the way of the 9th-ranked team in the land, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and they did so by pulling away really after that first quarter was so close and competitive. You know, you talked, Derek, about maybe some of the defensive deficiencies that Notre Dame's going to have to figure out. What did you overall think of that offense that you saw tonight from Brian Kelly's crew?
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I didn't think it was explosive by any means. I think when you look at some of the other teams out there in college football, because if we're going to say, okay, is Notre Dame good enough to get back to the playoff? To me, you have to start asking the question, how does their offense compare against a Clemson, an Alabama, an Oklahoma, teams like that? And I don't think they're anywhere close to that so far. Again, it's the first game of the season, but I saw Clemson on Thursday night. I think a lot of people saw Oklahoma last night, Alabama this weekend as well, seeing that those offenses, even in the first game of the year, are more explosive than what we saw here. And you know that those teams, Clemson, Alabama, are going to play great defense as well. So you're going to have to be able to score points if you want to compete with some of the top teams in college football. They've got a ways to go for that. I think they're in pretty good shape running the football, but they're going to have to find a way to get more explosive in the passing game.
All right, let's check some of the final stats sponsored by Indeed.com. Are you hiring? With Indeed, you can post a job in minutes, set up screener questions, and zero in on qualified candidates in an online dashboard. Get started at Indeed.com/hire. Starting with the total yards, Notre Dame 425, Louisville 383. Early on, it was a lot of rushing yards, and it still was tilted that way, but the passing yards started to catch up. Notre Dame 232 running, 193 pass. Louisville 249 on the ground, 134 through the air. Turnovers really hurt Louisville. 3 fumbles lost by quarterback Juwan Pass, and that really was one of the detriments on the offensive end. Now, if you look individually at some of the numbers, Ian Book of Notre Dame, 14-23 throwing at 193 yards passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. Neither quarterback had an interception, but Juwan Pass, who struggled last year with accuracy, struggled with accuracy again tonight, 12 of 27, 134 yards, no touchdowns, and no interceptions. But, Derek, both quarterbacks ran the ball pretty well. You look at Book, 81 yards and a touchdown, and then Pass had 2 touchdowns and 67 yards.
Yeah, again, when I was down on the field before the game, I didn't think there was any question in the athleticism looking at a guy like Juwan Pass, 6'4", 220 pounds, got the ability to run the football, had a lot of success running it early on, not as much as the game started to get in the later stages, but both quarterbacks definitely able to tuck the ball down and run with it, get themselves out of a bad situation, or when things break down from a defensive perspective, they can turn it upfield and pick up yards with their legs. So that's going to help both these teams, but specifically when you look at Louisville, 12 of 27 for pass, I mean, well below 50% passing, you're not going to win very many games when you have that type of efficiency.
All right, Derek, it's time to select the Geico drive of the game.
It's going to go to the fourth quarter. And, Brandon, you and I talked about the importance of the drive for Notre Dame because Louisville was kind of hanging around, but then they had one opportunity. If they brought the ball all the way down the field, they could really separate themselves, and that's exactly what they did. 11 plays, 75 yards, 5 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock. It was the longest Notre Dame drive of the game when you look at plays and time, and it capped it off with a 1-yard run by Jameer Smith. That put him up and basically set this game up to where Louisville and their struggling offense was not going to be able to get back into the game.
That's the drive of the game brought to you by Geico. Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes you could save 15% or more on car insurance. And you mentioned Louisville struggling to move the football. 3 points in their last 12 drives after 2 touchdowns in their first 2 drives. And I wonder, pregame we heard Lance Meadow and Brian Kelly talking about how, well, we're not sure. You have to look at tape of App State. You have to look at Louisville film. What are they going to do? Maybe Notre Dame just needed some time to figure out what Louisville was going to do on offense.
Yeah, I think both teams, because there's always going to be adjustments that are made. Even if you have the same team, same coaching staff, they're going to go back and self-scout, and they're going to say, okay, what plays did we do well? Which ones did we not do well? Okay, let's look across the country. Let's look at some other teams, see what they've done well, and how can we integrate that into our offense. And so you'll see some of those plays early on in the first game of the season where you don't get a chance to break it down and say, okay, if they come out in this personnel package with this person right here, we're going to go to this adjustment. You have no idea in the first game of the year.
If we look ahead, Louisville's got a couple of winnable games you would think coming up. 2 in-state opponents at home, Eastern Kentucky and then Western Kentucky. Notre Dame, they host New Mexico, and then they go to Georgia, and obviously what is going to be a highly anticipated matchup, and we'll we'll see how these next 2 weeks filter out for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to think about first things first with New Mexico. They've got a week off before they play that game. You'd like to think that Notre Dame's got enough talent to be able to beat them, but then it's going to be one of the biggest games of the season going to Georgia, because if you remember a couple of years ago when Georgia went up there and basically kind of took over the Midwest, in Georgia, they played Vanderbilt this weekend. They just took over Vanderbilt Stadium. So that is going to be one crazy atmosphere, and it's going to be one energetic game. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, so that's what's coming up for both Louisville and Notre Dame. Notre Dame gets to 1-0 after the slow start. Brian Kelly now in his 10th season, and we'll see. As you said, there's certainly some question marks for Notre Dame to try to see what they can build back up. Not sure if they have the team that they had last year, but they do get the victory over Scott Satterfield and company here tonight. And we'll say goodbye right now. It was good to be back in the saddle with you.
It's been a little while,
I enjoyed
man.
it.
Yeah, and I enjoyed you almost getting fired for the rest of the season by insulting our producer.
You stop it. I did not mean anything that I said, all right? And on that note, we send it back to Lance Meadow in our Westwood One studios.
All right, guys. Well, Louisville may not be in full season mode yet, but clearly we are in the broadcast booth on the road. As the final score, Notre Dame 35, Louisville 17. We will wrap things up when we return. This is Westwood One's coverage of NCAA football. Lance Meadow back here with you in our Westwood One studios in New York as number 9 Notre Dame tops Louisville 35-17 at Cardinal Stadium. And perhaps it's a good omen for Notre Dame that it kicked off the season with a victory. In the 108 seasons the Irish has won its opener, it's gone on to post a winning record 93% of the time. The final score, Notre Dame 35, Louisville 17. You've been listening to the 5-hour Energy College Football Game of the Week on Westwood One. For energy on the go, it's got to be 5-hour Energy. Works fast, works long, tastes good, and with 0 sugar and 4 calories, there's nothing holding you back. We'd like to thank our crew for this evening. Studio producer, Michael Martino. Studio coordinator, Michael Wargon. Spotter, Kevin Messenger. Statistician, Jeff Nelson. Engineer, Albert Dale. Director of Digital and Social Media, Aaron Cummins. Coordinating producers, Larry Costigan and Mike Eby. The executive producer of Westwood One Sports is Howard Deneroff. Join us again for our next broadcast of college football. Next Saturday, number 10 Texas hosts number 7 LSU. Ryan Ratke and Derek Rackley will have all the action beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern. And a reminder that if you can't get to a radio to hear us each week, you can once again listen to every college football game we broadcast this season for free by either downloading the TuneIn app and searching for the Westwood One channel, or by going to our website and listening online at westwoodonesports.com. Once again, the final score from Louisville. The Irish top the Cardinals 35-17. Now for Brandon Gaudin and Derek Rackley, I'm Lance Meadow. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to NCAA Football on Westwood One.